Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe, and that you continue to share that knowledge. So, greetings this Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, depending on where you are. And I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm feeling a little goofy today, maybe more than normal. But anyway, there were the title of this particular session is "When Calls the Heart." And it has to do with basically, hey Travis, it has to do with basically sometimes our hearts will speak to us for whatever reason, and that for those of us who have accepted our missions here on this time around, or soul contract, or however you want it. Hey Chloe, hey Elderberry, I got your message, obviously. But sometimes the heart is called to do things, and if I'm having bad, I'm having difficulty formulating the words, I reckon. Maybe I should back up slightly. Actually, he's the second, Chloe. But, uh, you know, but anyway, I was thinking that maybe a little bit of explanation needs to be about our missions, for example. I mean, I realize that I have known about my mission ever since I was a young boy. Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played 'em all. But I ain't never seen nothing like it in any amusement park. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. Anyway, um, hi Julianne. Shalom, Mousy Man. How are you? Love you all in the background too. We got 2 minutes before it's 12:20 here on Eastern Daylight Time. 4:28 on 2021. And love you also, Soul Tribe. And I'm getting ready. I'm getting my little red bowl ready here. Hey, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q, why can't you be true? Oh, Susie Q. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. Strawberries. Ooh, look at that. Strawberries in the house. Everybody saying hi to everybody. I'm getting my bowl ready. Gaza's in the, oh, hey, Gaza. Greetings and blessings to all y'all. You have some edible. Well, it's time to eat some then. All right, Mossy man, I got you. It's 12:20. It's 4:20 somewhere, y'all. So I've been waiting on this one. Hey, Gaza, you'd like a brownie, please? Actually, I have some in the freezer. I just can't share them with you. The supermoon CD. Duggar says hi. He's down here. Hey, Project, how are y'all? Gold miner hat. Yeah, this is my Aussie hat that I turned sideways. You know, it was a present for Christmas. And I was just feeling a little goofy tonight, and I was like, why not share some goofiness, right? With so much pain and sorrow. Yeah, he wants to go back out. Well, so much pain and sorrow in the world. Many of us, have found that we have a mission in life. And I knew about mine when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, and I've been trying to figure it out ever since. But the idea, though, that somewhere along the line, many of us have understood, ring a ding, hey, Doug, Ed, how are you? The idea that some of us have agreed to soul contracts. And I'm referring to way back when to Edgar Casey and some of his readings and studies and so forth. And I firmly believe that I agreed to a soul contract. I should have read the fine print, but with that said, for those of us who feel like we have a mission, and our mission is to bring peace, our mission is to bring love, our mission is to be a positive force in the universe. Hey, Jazzy, how you doing? But with that said, not everybody's has the same kind of quote unquote mission in life. I've known about mine for quite a long time. I'm here to be mischief. You go right ahead, Julianne. We need a little mischief every once in a while. But my thought about the title on this, when calls the heart. Sometimes our hearts are called to do things. Mission. That it means that we need to extend our love a little further than maybe within our normal reach, if you will. Something's outside. Duggar wants to go out, and I'm not going to let him out because I think he's going to run to the neighbors and start barking. It seems like one of those nights, but anyway. So tonight is one of those nights when I felt like the universe was calling my heart. And then elderberries called me Barry, and I was like, well, I guess that pretty much sets this in motion, right? And in that there are times, I was not necessarily being bored, but I wanted to do some outdoor things today, and I just wasn't quite capable to do what I wanted to do, but I did get some stuff done. Hey, Barry, you got a wrench? Yeah. I was playing around the other morning at like 5 in the morning and saw how to do it. And Elderberry was there, and so was Michelle. And I just said, here you go. Let me see if this will work. So, anyway. Hey, Trace B. I'm new here. I came over from over there somewhere. I came from over there somewhere. Well, hi, Tracy B. We love having you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. You know. But anyway, so there are times when it feels like the universe is calling us to do something. You came in it, Michelle. See, I was talking about you. Are your ears burning there? So anyway, um, mine leaves me where I must be single. Ain't so bad once you accept it's a must for your mission. I understand that, Chloe. You feel cheated. I knew that was going to happen. But anyway, Witch Moon, hi. I'm from over there too. You look like someone I've known all my life, but I can't remember. Well, that's possible, you know. Amanda B, how are you? Golly, we got several new faces in here and some old faces that look new and some new faces. I'm just messing around, y'all. But honestly, though, the idea of when calls the heart. So sometimes our heart calls us to do things that require us to be extra, to do extra. And good day, good day, good day to all y'all out there. I'm an ancient face that is new today. Good for you, Doug. Um, yeah, greetings to you, Witch Moon. Yeah, and lots of cosmic hugs. It being a full moon kind of thing, there's some really strange energy just floating around. Okay, Michelle. Aussie, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. I love it. This is sort of my Aussie hat, really. Yeah, when they talked about them folks down under, them blokes and Sheila's down there. Anyway, sometimes it's just important that we just share in that joy of the when the heart calls. I think a lot of times some of you folks, um, Amanda, you're already our tomorrow. That's right. There you go. And love it that you folks are here. Absolutely. Um, but I think sometimes we show up to certain places and hang out like you all come here. And I think your hearts are pulled together, whether it be for the soul tribe, for the universe, for each other. I'm not quite sure. Hey, Jody, how are you? But when calls the heart is that, our hearts are all together when we meet here and share the joy and share what we know with each other. Thank you, Chloe. Hope you're doing well, Jody, Susie Cube, everybody in the sea. Um, so my topic for tonight really is that how much of our heart should we give out? In other words, y'all feel drawn to come here, and you know, some folks even requested, and it is I call it my job, but it is my duty because of my mission here. So whether I was able to actually, uh, you know, Barry pushed me into this, by the way, so I was only able to get one bad video uploaded. Yeah, and ain't it a shame? And also, Doug, has everybody noticed how low the moon is in the sky, by the way? Where just a couple of nights ago, like 3 or 4 nights ago, it was almost straight overhead. Has anybody noticed that, by the way? And we got a little bit of cloud covering here too. It's not real clear. And they have been spraying the bejesus. Mel, how are you? CD moon is huge. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Well, for those of us who've been watching where the position of the moon was, and I stated about a week ago, I said, the moon's really overhead. And then all of a sudden, within 2 days, it's like bing, bing, bing. And it's really low in the sky tonight. But anyway, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. I am purging from the moon. Yes, it's leaped. It's done something. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, Mel, and welcome. Absolutely. But there are things in life that call upon our hearts to work on. And so, in this day and age, where there's so much trauma and weirdness going on, and there are, yeah, man, about 20 degrees off of last night. I agree. Um, Lower in the sky, absolutely. The idea, though, that so many people seem to want some of our. You're 33 years young today. Well, happy birth. Is it um, Wednesday where you're at, or is it still Tuesday? That's my question, Mel. It doesn't really matter. Happy birthday to you anyway. Happy birthday to you. We'll all blow up balloons and then play our kazoos. Blah, blah, happy birthday. Anyway, yeah, we hang out and talk about all kinds of stuff, Chloe. It's a safe place for anybody to come. And as long as you're respectable, we'll talk about all kinds of stuff. Ain't that right, y'all? David Castle, how are you? Yeah, and happy birthday. Absolutely. But with everything that's going on, as far as, well, pick a subject in the world, and people are pulling them upon our 12:32 a.m. Yep, that's what I got here. So you're Eastern Daylight, but um, how much of our heart do we share during these times? You know, how much do we expand ourselves to people that we hardly know or don't know, or and I think it has to do with the kindness that is also attached with the heart. You too, David Castle. I'm in Quebec. Wow, I've been up in that area. The world is in doesn't make sense mode. Yes, absolutely, Amanda. Nothing makes sense. I mean, I look at things and people are going, this is just stupid, but they allow the stupidity to continue, stupid is as stupid does. And there just seems like there is an abundance of stupidity out there on all kinds of different levels. But anyway, with the love in our heart and our heartstrings, kindness has to go with it. Because, and you can send out love to the universe, but, if you're in a grouchy mood, it might not necessarily be that the energy that you think you're giving out. But for me, it's a kindness and also honor. But it has taken me lots of years to truly understand what honor means to the universe, and I continue to learn. You're a grouch potato. Yeah. But I think that if we're meeting new people and other people are asking for some of our heartstrings, for us to share whatever it is that they require, we have to do so with kindness, and we have to make sure that kindness is in our hearts. Okay. It's not, the other person may not be very kind and they really want to suck the juice from us, right? They really want to suck that, there is something they really need. But at the same time, they don't reciprocate in any way, shape, or form. And it just really goes one way, and they really want or need, or, a lot of love from the heart. And there's nothing wrong with giving it, but sometimes you have to look at the situation and scratch your head and go, I need to be kind, and I need to be considerate, and I need to honor people, but do I really need to like just pour my heart out? Does it work for everyone? And the answer is no. Quite simply, we can give out a certain amount of love to everyone, and that's like, okay, cheers. Think before I speak. But the idea, though, that we give all of our hearts to everyone can cripple us, and will cripple us in these times. Oh yeah. So we have to be careful, but that's where the kindness comes in. Love bubbles. I don't think before I speak. I have no filter. Sometimes I've gotten much better at it, but the idea, though, that it isn't that we shouldn't love everyone, but the idea that there are people out there who are truly like vampires. And right now, because everyone's so confused about stuff, we have to take the observer position, and kind of sort of like be like Fox, the card I pulled the other night. And Fox is camouflage. And so we blend into the background and we watch what's going on. We step in where it's necessary. I've talked about this before, but with the craziness that's going on, there are some people that no matter how much we give to them, it won't be enough, because they don't know what they need. They just know they need something, and they know that you've got a good heart, so they're gonna, want to get as much of whatever it is they're searching for, right? And so, but it basically is love from the heart. That's that they're, because so many people in one way or the other are missing it these days. The disconnect with the phones and the cell phones. I ain't gonna get into any of that, because y'all know how I feel about that stuff. Unplug your phone. For example, all day today, my computer lid has been shut. and for parts yesterday too. There were some things that I caught up on, and yeah, Witch Moon, I get you about that with the sleep thing. Chloe says, I've been feeling guilty of letting others. I can tell you now it's never going to be in your best interest to allow that to happen. Whatever that was, I missed. But anyway, the idea though that we just have to be careful because we're in enough turmoil that if we lose ourselves, we've lost. Well, we don't want to lose ourselves ever. But there are times when we need to go a little overboard. We need to go beyond our normal area of kindness or something. But generally speaking, what we need to do though is just keep that love buzz going, and where everybody's getting a decent share, but without taxing our spirits. I've talked about it before, but like the last time when I did 6 hours worth, Michelle, you and you and Barry hung out with me. That there's still folks that are, oh my God, it's Armageddon still. Uh, you know, how many different shows are on raptures? I was speaking on which you're speaking now, Hawkeye. Okay, I got you. Love you much and hugs. My son asked me today how I can drive anywhere with no radio on. I said I need to unplug and feel the wind and feel the earth. Me too, Doug. Roll down the damn window and take a ride. My radio hadn't worked in my truck for a while, so it's like, me and Doug are riding down the road with the windows down. I've lost me. It was the worst experience ever. I agree, Chloe. And there seems to be recently, I had a little bout of it today. Like, I really wanted to go out and do more, and I just couldn't. And so I ended up and down, up and down. Me and Doug are on the couch, and not really feeling bad, but not feeling real good. My issues with the sleep thing has just been beating me up here lately. But and a part of me wanted to just be depressed about it. And in the old days, I would have let it take over. But today I batted around like a fly in the air, like, get away from me. I don't want to have anything to do with you. So the idea, though, that you think of the song by Blondie about with Rapture. Yeah, and I have talked about this before, and I absolutely have had these experiences where there are moments that I have had in my lifetime, in my um, asking and receiving the energy from the universe, in the middle of the night out on the lake. And I've talked about some of this before. And I found some of the pictures. Oh my God, the pictures I took, and the hundreds of orbs around me on the beach and in the kayak. Now, this was 2 years ago, 19 and 20, or a year ago, some of it. But on the same river where Duggar and I was the other day. And for those of you who I haven't figured out how to upload them yet to YouTube, but I did put some pictures and video up on my Facebook page, which if you don't know, somebody's got, it's just David Null on Facebook. But anyway, and look for my natural born ugly mug there. It'll show you. But when we understand the universe just more than what we can basically see with our eyes, and when we understand that there really is a spirit world, there are orbs around us, not and some more than others. Some of the pictures that I took of the camp that's just a couple of 100 yards away from the house. In a couple of pictures, there are several orbs floating around down there in the woods. And I've said before that my property lies halfway between two cemeteries. Now, not that it has a lot to do with it, but a lot of times orbs are, uh, spirits that have yet to leave this plane of existence to go on. So, who knows? I might turn into an orb. That's the first rap song, David. What? Orbs? Hang on. That might have been another David. Yeah, hugs all around everybody. I mean, I literally, even on my slow days, I send prayers out to y'all. But anyway, so, and what's this got to do with love in our hearts? Well, we can understand that there's something that is beyond us in this realm, in this 3D reality. And it always shows proof to me that, there are spirits all around us in the shape of, not necessarily ghosts, but um, call me on the line. You can call me anytime. Call me. Isn't that Blondie? Anyway, Diane Harrington, I think. Debbie Harrington, excuse me. Um, but for the self to understand, okay, I'm not just me, I'm not just this shell, I'm actually a spirit and a soul. And somebody had asked a question somewhere in one of the chats or something I was lurking in. And, is the spirit and the soul separate? Now, I will give this little 10 cents worth and take it for what you will. For me, the soul is that thing that part of us that is ancient. The spirit is what we have now. Um, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. But anyway, the idea though that what we have with each other is we share those heart moments. And in our thoughts and our prayers, we share that energy to the universe. And that there are other entities out there that hear these prayers. And when I was out, some of the pictures that I took out on the river with all these hundreds of orbs around me. And I take a picture every 30 seconds. So there's like 2 or 3 pictures with the same timestamp. And it'll be in the same general area, and they will have moved, so it's not like these things are just, they're just stagnant in the air. They're moving around all the time. But anyway, in understanding about orbs and things, it just, to me, it confirms there are other realities just right next to us, and that when we are good people, when we project good energy. And I know there are people out there sort of like Rabbit. And because all they talk about a lot of times are these devil energies and these bad energies out there. And I think I'm being attacked. And it, you may be. And I'm not trying to downplay that, but when people focus only on that, it's like Rabbit who calls the fear to them. So if it's on your mind all the time that you're under attack, that it may be that subconsciously you feel like you're under attack or you're scared that you're going to be, but in doing so, it's just like Rabbit calling the calling fear to them, right? So anyway, now I'm being asked tonight by the spirits to pull a card for everybody. So So I got my dear card sitting right here with me. And I'm glad y'all came to hang out tonight because it felt like it was necessary from what the heart says. Now, for me, the spirit is always with us. Um, that our spirit is what we create in this lifetime, but our soul is eternal. But they're both the same thing, just a little bit. The spirit is more recent, and the soul is very old. So that's how I look at it. I am the card, huh? Yeah, I got my cards here, and nobody in particular, but so people say, well, the spirit and the soul would just they're one and the same thing, but just if you just now I could be just dead wrong, but I've asked this question many times, and every time it comes up that somebody asks that question, they give me the same answer, and it's like so, and it seems so simple. It is simple as that. Our spirit is our current situation, and our soul is, the long term. Otherwise, why would we have soul contracts? We would have spirit contracts. Just saying. So, but anyway, so Jazzy, hooray, I'm painting the house to sell it. Workshop and listening. Good, Jazzy. Would you be the high priestess? All right, so here we are. I've shuffled them, and now I'm doing the old finger routine. The cards are giving me the finger. Whoop, crap. Playing for the Queen of Hearts. Knowing everybody's done. Na, 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 fool, takes me away from you. Anyway, so the card I pulled is Badger. Oops. Why that does that, I have no idea. I touched it. Anyway, so Badger upside down. And I went right to the page, by the way. That's interesting. Aggressiveness. I got to get my other glasses for this. So, for those folks who are new here, I'm reading the medicine cards. These are Native American cards that give us messages all the time. And I'm always proud to pull a card. So tonight, I got to get my other glasses. So I have the combined effort of both pairs. These are my bifocals. Badger, 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 until you reach your goal, know the inner power that lives in your soul. Now that's interesting because I just got done talking about soul and spirit, and there it is in sometimes the synchronicity of some of this stuff just, wigs me out too. But the badger is aggressiveness. Badger is vicious and attacks with powerful aggression. Badger is quick to anger and quicker to pounce. The power of the badger's medicine is aggressiveness and the willingness to fight for what it wants. The very thought of facing badger makes other animals run for cover. Like skunk, badger's reputation precedes it. So it's about reputation also. Its hissing fangs will tear less aggressive opponents to shreds. Badger is the medicine of many powerful medicine women. For Badger is also the keeper of the medicine roots. Okay. Badger sees all the roots of Mother Earth's healing. herbs and hanging in its burrow home. In other words, imagine a hobbit home with herbs and roots and stuff hanging out of the ceiling, right? Um, for Badger is the keeper of the medicine roots. Badger sees all of the roots of Mother Earth, healing herbs hanging in its burrow home. These roots are a key to aggressive healing. Roots can be ground. Roots can ground negative energy into the earth by allowing illness to pass through a body into the ground as neutral energy. Badger medicine people are quick to act in a crisis, and they do not panic. If Badger is part of your medicine, you are quick to express your feelings and you do not care what the consequences are. Badger people oftentimes insist on carrying the ball for the touchdown. This attitude, however, does not endear them to their teammates. Badger medicine may also point to the aggressive healer who will have the courage to use unconventional means to exact a cure. Like the mother who sits for days nursing a child with high fever, Badger is willing to persist. Badger people can be vicious gossips or may exhibit a chip on the shoulder syndrome if they are out of balance. So if you got somebody, nipping at you all the time, it might be that they're just out of balance. You can be sure that people with Badger medicine will be aggressive enough to make it to the tops of their chosen fields because they do not give up. Now, that's key to this stuff. Do not give up. They are also the finest healers because they will use any and all methods to ensure healing and will not give up on the critically ill. A Badger person is often the boss and one that everybody fears. That same boss will surely keep any company afloat. Badger can get the job accomplished, but certainly is a source of strength. If Badger pushes away into your cards today, it may be telling you that you have become too meek in trying to reach some goal. Badger asks you how long you are willing to sit and wait for the world to deliver your silver spoon. In this medicine, the key is to become aggressive enough to do something about your present state of affairs. Badger is teaching you to get angry in a creative way and say, I won't take it anymore. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. Honor the healing process as you express those inner feelings. Be aggressive, but don't cut others to ribbons on the way. That is too much aggression. Use your anger to stop lolling around so that your doldrums of apathy are a thing of the past. Badger is a powerful medicine when properly used for self-improvement. Remember that Badger may be signaling a time when you can use your healing abilities to push ahead in life. Heal yourself by aggressively removing the barriers that don't grow corn in your life. Cut away the dead wood and use Badger's aggression to seek new levels of expression. Use Badger's medicine roots to keep grounded and centered in the process. Now, that was upside down. Here comes Badger upside down and fuming. This could mean that you are being chewed out by someone else, or that you have expressed your anger in an unhealthy way. If this applies to you, remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected towards others. Now, that's a powerful two sentences right there. Remember that all anger stems from anger towards the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected towards others. If you are angry at a coworker for telling the boss that you were looking for another job, you are really angry at yourself for not keeping your own secret. If you are angry at your children for disobeying, it is usually anger that stems from fear for the children's well-being. This self-anger condition is usually present when you have silly accidents, falls, cuts, scrapes, or when you find yourself bumping into furniture. Badger in the contrary position can issue a time of reflection on what you feel helpless about. Now, and one of the things for me doing this video, when calls the heart, and that, there are people who are feeling helpless in many situations right now. And if I can be here and everybody hang out and they feel better about themselves, or the situation isn't quite as bad, then that the heartstrings are being pulled to do something good. That's the reason I'm here tonight. Every night, actually, but tonight especially. Badger in the contrary position can issue a time of reflection on what you feel helpless about. Now, many of us feel helpless about the current affairs, right? But we also have to stop and look at ourselves and go, but does it really affect my present situation? Just saying. Got to keep an eye on these crazies, but is it your lack of aggressiveness or initiative? Is it your fear of being blasted or belittled if you present a new idea? Maybe it is time when you need to get in touch with your own jealousy or envy of others who are willing to put themselves on top through hard work. Now, I don't know if any of this applies to you, but the message for me is a time of reflection on what you might feel helpless about. And there are a lot of things that, can come up in a day or a week's time that we have a helplessness type feeling. So, in the reverse, Badger teaches you the pitfalls of shyness and insecurity, as well as of misused or vicious aggression. Go to your feelings. Maybe you just need to let off a little steam. If so, scream into a pillow and then punch it a few times. It will surely put Badger back into balance. Badger can be difficult medicine, and learning to use it properly is a rare gift. In another context, contrary Badger could be calling you to use herbs and roots to heal your body. Badger reversed may also be putting you on notice to be aware of those areas in your life that need the input of someone else's aggressive creativity to spark your own. In any case, contrary Badger speaks of a need for more aggressive action in life. No more in, no more inactivity can prevail without creating pain of some kind. They want me to read this one part over. Putting you on notice to be aware of those areas of your life that need the input of someone else's aggressive creativity. I know that there have been times when, working when I was doing, backgrounds for plays and things and stuff like that. And that, you get stumped, and somebody else could just walk in the room and go, wow, that looks cool. Is that supposed to be a something? And next thing you know, hey, Teresa. And the next thing you know, there's, there's a new idea. You need someone else's input. And we should understand that that's actually good medicine. Hello, Teresa. I ain't sleeping. I'm just peeping, looking out my eyelids, seeing if it's dark, looking for a spark. Take us to the Highlands. Make up shit all the time. Telepathically calling you. Yeah, see. So, but so the message for tonight seems to be, and crap in the bag. Hang on. My glasses got away from me. That Shyness can come in many ways. I mean, I was looking at my situation today and thinking, going up on the hill, and oh my God, the amount of blueberry bushes I have found is like, I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. I mean, I've got at least 50, uh, easily 50 um, blueberry bushes, wild blueberries. And on some of them, they're not real big, but they're nice and plump and big and juicy. And I'll have blueberries coming in for at least the next week. Picked a bunch of not huckleberries, that tree out there. it'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, I was like, holy mackerel, the size of the fruit coming off this thing. So and walking around on my property, but what I mean by shy is that uh sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to really walk up to the briars, and well, I don't, I'm being shy about it. Mulberry, thank you, elderberry. um I ain't messaging. Looking for a spark to take us to the Highlands. Yeah, that's what I said. Ain't that crazy? I just made that up. Mulberries. Yeah. Oh my God. I got a big old thing of them, and that was just in a few minutes. But there are some days when I can go up there and walk all around and get lost up there on the hill for an hour. And then there are sometimes when 15 minutes is like too much. And I get back to the house and I go, man, I really wanted to stay up there longer and I couldn't. So those are my own personal everyday kind of, so but I have to just learn to roll with the punches. But the shyness and, well, I don't know if I really want to go out. Well, so it's the aggressiveness for me, a message, and to just be more aggressive in going outside, even if I got to take a damn chair with me. But I gotta say, eating fresh mulberries and fresh blueberries from my place is just like wonderful. And I've got a bunch of strawberry plants out in my back in behind the house, and not one strawberry. But I got all in the last few years I was concentrated on the strawberry plants because I love strawberries. And this year, lots of plants, nice and green. We've had plenty of rain, but there's no buds on them, there's no flowers, and at the moment there ain't no strawberries. So, but in thinking, why have I not noticed all these blueberries up on my hill, is because the last couple of years I've been in the backyard trying to get something out of the strawberries and have had very little success. Well, now if I just walk up the hill and take a little, walkabout up there, I'm picking all these absolutely wonderful, fresh blueberries off my property. And I mean, it's just like, well, the Lord acts in mysterious ways, in that, I knew I had some up here, but I had no idea at how many. I mean, there's 15 of them just along where I've got two places to come down my driveway. Uh, and the other one's the back way kind of thing anyway, but it's lined with, there's 10 bushes within 30 feet, and then there's one in here and there's little ones that are just coming up. And I mean, I'm like, wowzers. So I'm going to pay more attention to that. But just in walking around, go up, get the mail, catch what's on both sides of the driveway, and then come back down the other way and cut through the woods and around and all these other wild blueberries. Oh my goodness. So it's like, and this is the first year I've seen all these mulberries. I'm just like loving it. And in the meantime, looking for the blueberries, I'm finding blackberry patches in between the trees and stuff up on the hill because I have not taken care of it up there. But in so many ways, it's like maybe it's good that I haven't done anything up there because there's all these blueberry bushes up there, and they will pop up through the roots, right? So they'll send roots out and one will pop up over here. So if there's one, and a couple of the bushes are old and stout and everything like that, with several different stems coming up. And I'm thinking to myself, all I have to do is, even when the blueberries are gone, is keep going up there, take my trimmers when I go, and make sure that I cut around them and get there are limbs from the trees that have fallen on them. But anyway, take care of what the creators already put here so that next year I'll be able to get around all these bushes with more ease. And, but oh my goodness, so I've got I'm looking at this as not necessarily as a crop, as like for sale, but a crop for me. I mean, they're the small blueberries, and I'd share them if somebody wanted to come by and pick some. But you're not going to sell them at the grocery store. But for me to have all of these wild things available for myself, and I'm, like I say, come over and we'll go walking and eat some yourself. But so it's not like I don't want to share, but it's not for money or for gain, but to the point of the blueberries, they're high in antioxidants and stuff like that. Plus, they taste good, and it's fun to go on a walk to pick, right? So, but the hard part is I have to clear out around them. I can't get by much. I need some beard oil because it feels like straw. Um, Edgar Casey was big on peanut oil, especially for sore joints and stuff, along with camphor and I can't think of the other one right at the moment. But anyway, for topical use. But peanut oil for everything, and you can just take a dab of peanut oil and spread it on you and do this kind of thing right there. You'll smell like uh, a peanut, but it's good for you. 12, 12. Yep, yep. It's almost the 20 mark. So, I've still got mine kind of sort of loaded. So, we'll hang out here and smoke if you got them. So with you sometimes you smell like a nut, sometimes you don't. Yep. I was noticing that in my kitchen and pantry, buying things and stuff that I feel necessary. Um, there's nothing like frying sweet potatoes in peanut oil if you're not allergic to peanuts. There we learned in the carnival business that there were certain kind of oils that you just stayed away from. So you always go with an oil that has a high boiling point, and you can heat the hell out of peanut oil. For those of us Southerners down here, we know about deep frying, right? You don't do it in corn oil because corn oil scorch and burn. And olive oil, you get it too hot, it'll scorch as well. But anyway, so in deep frying stuff. So, but anyway, it also has these medicinal purposes. But and doing my study, like so, somebody said, "Well, how come you got all these gallons of of oil, and some of them are vegetable oil, but that's for cheap stuff." And it's because if I ever run out of batteries and candles, I could make oil lamps. That's the reason. And if I ever need to fry something or whatever, but good night, Susie Q, if she's out of here. I guess that's why all the ladies avoid me. Or it could be that I'm happily married. Yep, it could be both. But the idea though that lanolin, you can put a dab of lanolin on you, and put it on you. Um, anyway, what time is it? 14. Oh, it's only 2 minutes later. It's actually hot tonight, which is interesting. Bob, we love you. And here's some coffee. And somebody's hollering, do another. Um, somebody's hollering at me to pull another card. Might be them up there. Here we go. It's the whale card. Now, that's just plumb interesting. In that I was thinking about the universe of things and how um, the universe of things and the wisdom. I'm always saying, the wisdom of the universe. But the interesting thing in that, in for folks who are looking for your own, remember your Akashic record and mine ain't the same one. Okay, just keep that in mind. Everybody's got their own record. Everybody's got their own soul diary kind of thing. So I've had the whale card drawn before. Yeah, they were kind of pushing me to pull the whale card. I mean, to pull a card. So, you know me, I try not to argue too much with the spirit because it just gives me pain when I do. And I think I read this the other night too, Doug. It might have been your card, but it's the record keeper. Whale of mighty oceans, you have seen it all. Secrets of the ages are heard within your call. Teach me how to hear your words and how to understand the very roots of history of when our world began. I find this interesting in that Badger had roots in it. It was the keeper of the roots and the medicines. Okay. And, there are words I know that, but interesting. Hot in East Texas too tonight, huh? Yeah. Going to be a long day tomorrow. Well, be safe, Doug. Whale is very much like a swimming library, where whale carries the history of Mother Earth and is said to have been placed here by the ancients from the dog star Sirius. Biologists say that whale is a mammal and very possibly lived on land millions of years ago. In tribal legend, whales moved into the ocean happened when the earth shifted and Lemuria, the motherland, went below the waves. Now that's interesting, Doug, and others of you all out there, in that I think I pulled this card the other day. And that, with all the stuff that's going on, whales move into the ocean happened when the earth shifted and Lemuria, the motherland, went below the waves. Now, there are many folks, and it's in the rest of this, that, there are the hopes that Lemuria is going to come back up. Well, does that mean something else is going to sink? Don't know. But we all know that earth changes are inevitable. And the fact that there hasn't been more activity in the last 70 years of my lifetime, more or less. And the whale song, yes, Witch Moon. 1 minute to go, y'all. Get yours ready. I have Rice Krispie treats for edibles. I found a turtle shell the other day out on walking. It looked like it had drowned. All of our petroglyphs speak of the motherland, Mu. and the disaster that brought the red race to North America from the west beyond the great waters. The symbols in the petroglyphs speak of the rivers and mountains crossed by our ancestors when they sought solid ground as the water receded. Whales saw the events that led to the settling of Turtle Island, North America, and has kept the records and knowledge of the motherland alive. It is said that Mu will rise again when fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on when fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. The native medicine people are waiting for this event as the next sign of Earth changes. Earth's children will have to unite and honor all ways and all races in order to survive. Now, that sounds like, reading, Revelations in the back of the Bible kind of thing. But Mu will rise again when fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. Whale medicine people are coded in their DNA to understand that sound frequencies can bring up records in the memories of ancient knowledge. They are usually clairaudient, or able to hear both very high and very low frequencies. They are usually also physically developed and fairly telepathic. I think I got some whale medicine in me just because of stuff. But anyway, many times, however, they are not awakened to their gifts until it is time to use the stored records. So there are folks out there wanting to know, and it just might not be time yet. It might just absolutely. Why can't I understand it? It's because it ain't your time yet. I know that people go, well, I don't believe that, but it's true. It's true. Sometimes there are certain things in my lifetime, I've told you about them. I'm like, you go along, and then all of a sudden you just have this OMG moment that is the rapture, which I was trying to talk about earlier. But anyway, whale medicine people are coded to their DNA. They are usually clairaudient or able to hear both high and low frequency. They're usually psychically developed and fairly telepathic. Many times, however, they are not awakened to their gifts until it is time to use the stored records. Many whale medicine people are able to tap into the universal mind of Great Spirit, the great void, the universal mind of Great Spirit, the source, and have no idea or why they know what they know. Only later, when they receive confirmation, do they begin to understand how they will know or why they received the impressions. Now, with the topic of when calls the heart, this is a lot of times could be the whale medicine, okay? Whale medicine teaches us to use the sound and frequencies that balance our emotional bodies and heal our physical forms. To use the sounds and frequencies, whatever they may be, that balance our emotional bodies. That's an important one there. And to heal our physical forms. To recall why the shaman's drum brings healing and peace is to align with whale's message. The drum is the universal heartbeat, aligns all beings heart to heart. Before the advent of speech and primordial language, hand signs were used, and many tribes were silent most of the time. It's absolutely true. The language that was understood was the sounds of the great spirits, other creatures, the animals. The language that was understood was the sounds of great spirits, other creatures, the animals. If you pulled the whale card, you're being asked to tap into these records and to allow yourself to be sung to by those who have the original language. We are the only creatures who do not have our own unique cry or call. Find yours. Allow your voice to use this sound to release tension or emotion. Whale signals a time of finding your origins, of seeing your overall destiny as coded in your DNA, and of finding the sounds that will release those records. Now, again, each one of us has got different records, so we can compare notes, but you may never be the same again. And from what I have gotten from old records, boy, that's never a truer statement. You will never be the same again. After all, you are the melody of the universe, and the harmony is the song of other creatures. In using your voice to open your memory, you are expressing your uniqueness and your personal sounds. As you open to this uniqueness, the animals that are your totems may then send their sounds or calls to you or through you. This will open your personal record so that you may further explore your soul's history and commune with Whale, who carries the history of us all. Buzzchino, Flowers, show me. I missed that one. It went past. Animals are fine. Some edible peach gummies. I bet you. Hey, FR. Yeah, there are so many things that I have discussed over the years that many of you have been with me and so forth. And I thank you all very so ever much so. But being out, going outside and picking mulberries and, birds up in the top of the tree eating with me kind of thing, and hearing the different animals call, like the other day was outside. And I know there's a rather large flock of turkeys that roam around back in the back and between the different properties and across the river, and they live here. And the other night it was like gobble, 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 gobble. I mean, it sounded like they were right behind the house, and they have been literally right down here behind the house in the woods. But this right behind the house was actually like a quarter mile away. But that's how loud they were gobbling, is my point. You could hear it like, what? Anyway. But for every time that, I don't know, like because of my brain condition, I come out of these muddled states at time and go, but if I go outside and walk around and, I'll hear, an owl in the early part of the afternoon will hoot down on the river. There are certain times of the day that the owls will it'll communicate what time of day it is, and it's around 5 o'clock kind of thing. And between 4 and 5, they're hoot, hoot, hoot up and down the river there. And, and you go, well, there they are talking to each other. And you can hear one way down the river and one or two sort of in the backyard and one up across, up towards the bridge up there and that other watershed up there. So anyway, and the woodpeckers. Oh my God. I got a headache listening to the woodpeckers. I mean, like, and they're way out in the woods and they're that loud, I'm like, holy mackerel. And I haven't. I need to get it some trail cam and set it up because I absolutely believe that there's an ivory build in my backyard somewhere. Actually, several of them. But uh, the conscious evolution. Howdy, always speak to me. Yep. Show me Sasquatch. Show me Sasquatch. I'm in South Georgia. If you're asking me what state I'm in. Yeah, welcome everybody. Some first timers in here. We got to get all the shaman healer channels connected. I'd love to have Hawkeye as a guest on my channel. Okay. I don't know. That's too complicated for me, FR. Anyway, um, I'm a native sun, wolf, owl, moon. Great witch moon. Yeah, I've got a very strong connection with owls, and hawk is my daytime, owl is my nighttime. And both otter and beaver are my uh, brothers and sisters, if you will. I have done some several ceremonies here on the property, and when I finished one ceremony that was like all night long, an owl hooted right over my head. I mean, like right over my head, not over here or over there. But and then the next night was a two-nighter. I was trying to bring the river and the property together, so I did a ceremony down on the beach of the river. And as the sun as daylight was breaking, it wasn't the sun, but as daylight was breaking, my candle went out. I finished my ceremony, and an otter came up that I could have reached over and touched him on the head. Came up and smiled at me like, "Hey, good for you," and back under the water it went. So, but anyway, so yeah, otters definitely, have like literally got right in my face. So, all you have to do is click the link when I do it. It's so easy. I can teach. Yep. I'm grateful for all of that, FR. Absolutely. Tree Knox, Osage. You're Osage? Show me. I had a good friend of mine who was Osage. And originally from Long Island. You're in southern Alabama, huh? Well, depending on where you are in southern Alabama, that's closer than some other folks. Save a tree, eat a beaver. They haven't taken down large trees around here, but I gotta tell you, we call them beaver chews because they were chewed by beavers, but they're sticks. And when I was down on the river a lot, you would they'd go up into the trees and you could see their path where they come and their beaver slides where they go back down the sand, and you can see their tail, the where their tail drags and all that kind of thing. And at nighttime you can hear them. They splush their tail down, like if you take your hand in a swimming pool or something and you cup your hand and you push down real hard like that and make a kawoosh. The beavers do that. I love to hear it, and they talk to each other that way, I think. Um, Never lived in the South and almost 50 years old. Ozarks, Missouri. Conscious, you're 10 minutes from Georgia? Wow, that's really close. Where at? Uh, what town in Alabama? Anywhere near Eufaula? I'm further south than Eufaula. I'm like Dothan's almost, not quite due west of me. Oh, she does live in the Ozarks. Yeah, I tried to move to the Ozarks. If I could still do it, and if I get a vehicle that is or my truck fixed, whichever comes first, I'm going back to the Ozarks. Columbia now, dear, down near. You live in Columbia, just across the river from Blakely. You just pisted Teresa. As Columbia is north of. Used to go to Columbia if that's the right town. That's out of from Blakely, Georgia. There's a big warehouser plant there. Um, Yeah, and Witch Moon, you're right. We hang out in here. Yep, across the river. Yeah, we used to ride over there just to get fireworks. I've been to been there to Columbia many times. Wow, now that's close enough. There used to be a park there on the Georgia side, the county park from Blakely, and not too far from the road that goes across the bridge. And have camped there several times. And it's a little place that was. You're new here, had to move in with family. Gotcha. Can anyone see that? Osage, Missouri. Yep. I live east of Rogersville. Um, in Arkansas, Barry? East of Rogersville. Or is that? I might have the wrong. There's Rogers, Arkansas, and Fayetteville. I got the two of them confused. Yeah, everything is a small world, you know. Well, Conscious, you're close enough. We could, every if you're new to the area, north of Branson, that's right, Elderberry. I forgot. But sort of near Rogers, Arkansas, sort of uh, north of it. Um, oh crap! Have you ever, if you're new to the area, Conscious, I've been wanting to go over to visit Colamoki Mounds, which is north of Blakely, which ain't far from Columbia at all, and and go back to the mounds there. But anyway, so with whale medicine, being a card that's being pulled tonight, and it was pulled the other night too. Um, He was with me after a 6 hours project. That's how I got a wrench, and I was screwing around on the side over there. But anyway, good night, Teresa. But anyway, the idea though that we can come in here and share and chit chat and not be worried about somebody wanting to beat you up or anything. Yeah, I was really confused about wrenches because I was like, there hasn't been one in a long time. And the thing about Shreveport isn't fun. Yeah, the thing about the wrenches is like, um, 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 no, actually, I'd like for Teresa to have one. But here's the thing: for those of you who have really helped me out in the chat, and y'all have, every one of you has helped out. But here's the thing: if I give everybody a wrench, to me that just looks stupid. If they are trying to disconnect us all, I will help you with many of these things. I left you a comment below your last video. Okay. Now, I don't like town much. Too much wacky energies. Yeah. And Colombia over there, that's strange. They're not bad people, but you know, if you're new to the South, that's I even said to Elderberry and Michelle, I said, you betcha, somebody's going to say, well, why don't I get a wrench? And I'm like, you watch, there's going to be an argument over this. I foresaw this, and I mean no disrespect to any of y'all. I mean, I just don't care. You're going to call me tomorrow. Do I know your phone number? Hang on, Mossy man. Let me see if I got your phone number wrote down. I got some folks sent me phone numbers the other day, and I tried to write them all down. I don't know if there's any responsibility in it or not. I mean, I know as a moderator, I don't even know what a moderator can do. Wait. 5. Hang on, y'all. A blue wrench can post links. Oh, okay. I'm not against it. Teresa, I think you should get one. You're one folk. Okay, Mossy man, I do have your number down here. Anytime after 12 p.m. after lunch. What you gonna call me for? Now I'm all my I don't mean this in a you're on the West Coast. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I guess I just figured out how to do it. Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff going on. And since I talked to y'all the other night, the thing about the ET stuff and is like it's not just chatter anymore. It's like it's starting to get pretty loud. Yeah, thank you, Sasquatch. People get their panties in a wad about, yes. And in all of y'all have helped me at some point, but I know Teresa and Michelle and Barry has been here so much, not that y'all haven't, but, and Doug, um, but I was just like, some folks drop in and out, and then there are folks who are here like all the time, or mostly. And so it's not that it's necessarily it's not like a privilege to me. It's that it's just saying thank you for your dedication. That's all. Thank you for your dedication for all these years that, I have known you. So, and it means, but for everybody else, it still to me seems stupid that everybody should get a wrench. I mean, it just, you know, y'all may, every one of you might end up with a wrench, but at the moment, I'm thinking, there were four people in my brain at the time. And I was like, okay, so three of them are there, and I can't remember who the fourth was, and maybe there was five, but um, that I was like, these folks have been with me for so long. And, but somebody else is going to say, well, but I've been here too. And I love you all. I do. And, if you need to print something or something, I'll work it out. This is still brain fuzziness for me. So, but I mean no disrespect to any of you. So many supernatural beings. Wait, moderator can't do anything to another moderator. I have the wrenches in my hand to pietism. I don't pay that much to be a moderator. I'm sorry. If you're in it for the money, never mind. I know you. Buzz Chino, you can offend some of the people some of the time, most of the people, but all because someone will always. Thank you, Buzz. So many crazy supernatural things. The native prayer for rain at the park, but the fountain is empty. Wow, that's interesting. We had over 3 inches of rain here, and it rained so hard it knocked the rain gauge over. But at the bridge, it had 4 inches of rain, and the river went from 5 feet to 14 feet in less than 2 days. That's how much rain we had down here with this last system, just the last day or so. Uh, and I'm going to be doing more live music. I was sitting around today having music going through my head, and I would really like to get my studio back up and running upstairs. So, but anyway, um, yeah, I got the music in me, and actually, yes, I agree, Buzz. Absolutely. There was something earlier today about planting seeds, and it's sort of what I was talking about way early on, over an hour ago now. In that I didn't say seeds, but we have to be able to tend our garden of the heart, and that if we aren't careful, and I didn't throw in the ego, but ego does get in the way a lot of times for folks, and even when they don't realize it. I mean, ever since I started taking a look at ego, there are little tiny things along the way that just like ego wants to just jump out, and it's just tiny little tidbits, but for me, I can see it's just not necessary. I can see where it might have served me at some other time or something, but not anymore, kind of thing. And it's like so ego isn't just about going out and boasting all the time and being that thing. um But the ego can also, for me, in the last few years of sure enough being a hermit, other than chatting with all you lovely people around the world, which I love every one of you. Thank you for your time and your effort and your prayers for each other, as well as for me. But, the idea, though, that every time we get together, our energies get linked, you know, and we are the league of like minded beings. So, in this understanding of things in the world, there are things that we should allow ourselves to become involved in. And as the Badger card is that to make sure that we're not being too shy about certain things. And I made a comment on Facebook the other day, and boy, do I know why I don't go there. What a mess! It hadn't changed in the last year and a half since I was on. Holy madness! But anyway, in that I don't wear a mask unless absolutely necessary. And I can't take the shot because I'm allergic to the flu vaccines. And so I love you all for who you are, but do you still love me? And that basically was my comment. So I haven't looked back to see if anybody gave a like or not, but let's put this in perspective, So this is my point of view, but other people, relatives and neighbors and folks who are into this gotta have the mask on all the time thing outside sitting in their car, is just like redunculous, Okay, if you're going into close quarters with a bunch of people, maybe, you know. Um, but if nobody's hacking and coughing and sneezing, then anyway, you can pick up stuff on the toilet seat. You know what I mean? Let go of my badger. And watching someone else in comparison, yeah. And without every drop in the ocean, there wouldn't be an ocean. If there wasn't grains of sand, there wouldn't be a beach, And for all of us and our souls and spirits, we are just as important in that. So, but anyway, um, to be a drop in the ocean, and that's one of the reasons why I like to connect with water so much is that all water connects. I mean, at least in the rivers, the Ochlockonee goes all the way down through Florida Panhandle and into Ochlockonee Bay, down to Panacea. And so, the water in my backyard is going to end up in the ocean, so it's connected all the way up the river, that energy from the ocean. And, some, all tributaries, even little creeks, especially when they're running, are all connected to all of the water. So, water is used in a lot of instances. I watched a Mayan. I think she was a witch, quite frankly. But she used water and grabbed my arm and started telling me shit. And I was like, holy mackerel. But anyway, it knows that it is both a drop in the ocean. We are both the drop and the ocean. Yes. We can choose to be either or both and be the whole. Absolutely. But anyway, she would just wave her hand in the water in the river. We were sitting down by the beach and we were fishing in the Ochlockonee River. And I was like, holy crap. Um, was that my ex-wife? No. Uh, Good night, conscious. Yep. And if I ever get over your way, we'll go over to the park or something, or go meet at the. Anyway, you're so close to me that we ought to get together and have lunch or something. You know, I'll bring the kayaks. Show me the exact same experiences can mean two totally different things. To Yep, absolutely. Show me. And many times, um, two people sitting and watching. I'm just going to use fireworks as an example. Can sit on a bench and looking at the fireworks and have see totally different things, or the experience is totally different to them. Um, yeah, I got five of them in a big canoe, conscious. So, and if you put your email in, I lost it. It went by and I didn't write it down. But mine is dwnull52 at gmail.com. dwnull52, lowercase, at gmail.com. So we took a shower together, apparently. Yeah, I've been begging for folks to come go kayaking with me, conscious. So, but anyway, um, but in the grand scheme of the universe, though, with understanding what Whale says, and that each of us has our own memories, each of us, all right, I got to keep this thing from moving. There it goes. Crap. It's going by too fast. Come, hang on, everybody. Yeah, that's why when I tell some of my stories and experiences, I try to give you like the whole ballywick, ballywick. All right. Talk amongst yourself. There we go. I got it, conscious. I wrote it down this time. Still learning to fly. Um, in the dream realm, walking in the void, as the natives call, you know, the mystery, the great mystery. If we have something that we really need an answer for, or something on, or a question that we have. Now, I've made these statements, but here's the thing. Anytime you want to ask about something in the Akashic record, whatever, try to stick with something simple. Don't make it a long, complicated, what is the mystery in life and what am I doing here? And no. Okay. If you just need information, then you ask your Akashic record, what led me here? What led me to the path I'm on now? Okay. And that could give you all kinds of background knowledge about yourself as to whether or not you were any kind of spiritual being, whether or not you were a gladiator, or whether or not, you were burned at the stake as a witch, or, whatever. Hopefully not, burning up is horrible. Um, so in our walking in the void and stepping into that, where all the answers are, to any question that's ever been asked. And some of them are, could be quite frightening, because, if you're asking, the universe to show you or tell you, um, I am the dark horse in this soul tribe family. Why the dark horse, Mossy man? Are you the sleeper? We are one collective consciousness. All of our actions affect everyone. Yeah, show me. That's why I say we are members of the League of Like-Minded Beings. And this has been my conversation for many years, as to, how do we, well, we're part of the tribe. Well, we're part of this. Yes, that's true. I agree with you. And our consciousness in the quantum reality of things, in the quantum universe. Um, and I have actually kind of learned how to walk on water a little bit, because there are places down in the woods where other people would sink up, past their ankle. I'd barely get my feet wet, and I'd walk in the same place. And they go, "How do you do that?" And you think lightly when you walk. So, no, I've seen the darkest and evilest of all society. Yeah, I understand. I've seen a bunch of that too, and I don't even want to, I don't even have to look for it. It will pop out and shove itself at me. So I get that, Mossy man. But, to the point though, over the years of my evolution of sorts, and that I'm still learning how to keep an eye on them dark spots, but they don't have my emotions like they used to. And that makes all the difference. Am I worried about tomorrow? Nah. Well, what if an earthquake hits? Then it hits. Well, what if an asteroid strikes? Then it hits. Then it strikes. Well, what about? And I used to report on all this stuff all the time. Well, there's another near asteroid, and then I started looking at how far away well, it's 1 LD. Well, that's the moon. Well, you got a rock the size of a semi tractor trailer. Okay, but it's out there by the moon. Just say it. When they start skimming the atmosphere, which they do, I'm more worried about the alien ships being blowed up and stuff, and seeing their scattered remains across the sky, and watching people try to explain them out as being meteors and stuff. Nah, it's more than that, my friends. But anyway, and that's one of the things that, is, and just looking through the news the last couple of days, as much as I was trying not to like let it interfere with me, I was like, man, there's all this, here comes the rapture again, because there's things in the clouds, and these people are doing this stuff. And to these people who have to preach it on a day-to-day basis, I did some doom and gloom back in the day, but my spirit, so told me, you know, this ain't what we asked you to do. We asked you to, oh, okay, to learn from this. All right, I did. So is there doom and gloom out there? Oh hell yeah. If you want to go look for it, oh just open up, a page on the internet. But at the same time, we should keep an eye on that stuff. Absolutely. And we shouldn't be shy about at least talking between us. Hey, bye, Jamie. How are you? Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Not necessarily, because I got some strange friends. Of course, I'm a strange bird myself. I acknowledge that right from the get go. But in understanding, in the whale song, so I can kind of tune into a song. I'm all the time breaking into some kind of lyrics or something, but the idea though that I can pull the song of the whale in enough to be able to hear that vibration. And um, so if we allow these things into us, but here's one of the things: we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be truthful. If you've got a nervous tick going on and you want to find out something and you're kind of hyper about it or something, that is not the time to ask, because your own emotions are going to be so weird that it will interfere with the message that's being sent you or given to you, or it'll be convoluted. Or one of the things that in my long-term experience of doing this, I've learned that um, the message is what it is, and it will reveal itself. Like, they'll send me a message and go, well, "What the hell is this about?" And 2 or 3 days later, or maybe the next day, or maybe a month away, or a year later, I go, "Oh, that's what you meant." And it'll always go back to that moment, kind of thing. So, but and if I sit down and try to figure out what it means, I always lose. I mean, sometimes I'll get some things right, but I have to allow it to show itself to me versus trying to figure out what it is. It's so much easier and more convenient, and you will get a proper answer. Yeah. Um, Being closed minded, for those of you who've been with me a long time, I've said this, repeatedly, in that in my reality, there is no box to think out of. And many people are still trying to think out of the box. And the box has to disappear. There is no box to think out of. If you have to create a box to put stuff in that you have to think out of the box, then you're kind of sort of missing the point. Now, I've learned this over the years because I kept thinking, well, I'm thinking out of the box. I'm thinking out of the box. And then Spirit whacked me on the head one day and said, quit saying that. There is no box. And I went, oh, holy crap. If you're always thinking out of the box, then there must not be a box. It's somebody else's box. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, but in understanding the truthfulness of the universe, where are the confines? Where does your brain set up parameters? Does it set up a fence? Do you have to crawl out of a box to get where you're going, kind of thing? So we put these barriers in our brain because through society and learning and stuff, that's how it goes. And the vernacular becomes part of our speech patterns. You know, there are certain key words that just grate my nerves, and people use them all the time, and it's an overuse of certain things. And I just, can you not just accept it? Accept the universe, accept and receive. It sounds so easy, and it is, but you have to be honest with yourself. That's, if you're not honest with yourself, and you have to take into consideration, it's like, now for me, I understand what I know, and I'm accepting, a friend of mine, his son, a friend of mine passed away back in the 80s. And his son had a hard time, jail time, did some stuff, and now he's found God. And so if religion and the Bible and going to church brings him out of where he was, I am not going to discourage him in any way, although he understands my point of view. So we can respect each other's point of view. And I'm glad that he found God. If it was in church or the Bible, I'm okie dokie. You got to start somewhere. So, he could be something else and he's not. And so I applaud him for his, the effort that he's making on his spiritual journey, and that he's making an effort. So, but my point is that for me, religion doesn't cut it. It hasn't cut it for a long time for me. And to me, there is the religion of one, the religion of it's not even a religion, it's a philosophy. It is a way of life. And it's the law of one, to do no harm to anything. And when you can truly and honestly and truthfully understand what that means, to do no harm, then there are no other rules need apply. They just don't. Now, there are sometimes, if somebody's attacking you and you got to defend yourself, then you might have to defend yourself. But in the long term and the overall, if you follow the rule of one, to do no harm, then it encompasses everything. I don't want to go out and kill ants, but they get in the house. So, we battle it out. But I'm not going on the neighbor's property trying to kill their ants. I mean, it's not a revengeful thing against the ants. Okay. Um, but I have to maintain a certain amount of control, don't like roaches running around, and it's summertime and they'll be finding ways under the door and getting in the house. And, so I, make sure that the debris and stuff around the house is cleaned away, because, habitat is the biggest thing for roaches. So anyway, but I don't try to go out and kill all roaches, but if they get in my neighborhood, they're dead. But the idea, though, that all living things have a purpose, whether we see them or not. I still haven't figured out what the hell a mosquito is good for, but the understanding that all creatures, great and small, um, is what's important. And to be honest with ourselves, and we have to have enough ego to be self-confident enough to accept the gifts from the universe. And we can't get cocky about it and go, look, I learned this and y'all a bunch of idiots over there. You can't do that. The coyotes are yipping. Wow. By that is indoctrination of the belief system that keeps you ignorant of reality. When I start getting a bad vibe, I leave. I don't hang out with toxicity later. Okay, was there a toxicity somewhere? All creatures, great and small. Yeah. And we just have to understand, we just pretend here in Island. We just pretend. The devil made me do it. Yeah. Um, yeah, I had a house burned down and we lost everything. FR. Been there. That I hate that part. Avoid vexations to the soul like the plague. Absolutely. Yep. Um, and here's one of the things is that the idea of, the lies that are being sent out, are coming from different sources, not just one, by the way, because there are so many different factions. And some of them are go, well, and some of this stuff just isn't about Satanism or the devil itself. It has to do with, we have to be honest about this, it has to do with different um, hybrid types of alien beings that are here, both having different agendas, both being nasty. And then there's the devil. But everything is not always the devil. There's a bunch of other stuff out there. That's just one part of it. Um, but the idea is that in this understanding of what's going on with the universe and what all of this disclosure and the revelations and everything. And I skipped over this way earlier, an hour and some ago. You can call me free, Hawkeye. Okay, I don't know what that means. Yeah, there are 320 million. Actually, there are billions, but I agree, Mossy Man. Hi, slightly slanted. Not as lost. Knowledge is lost without love. How does one know if a person you listen to is deceiving you or is being genuine? Okay, and I've been through this a lot, and have had chats with folks about this as well. Um, and Brian and I discussed this a couple of years ago, with certain people who seem to have their 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 words turned somehow. And what there are some folks who now here's if they're reading out a book with information about like Teresa and them do with about Egypt and things like that. Well, those are the author's point of view, and those are the facts as they see them. Okay. Um, I found it interesting that Egypt recalled all of the mummies. Y'all saw that, didn't you? Wasn't that it? Wasn't that strange in and of itself? Calling all the things back. But anyway, um, with the understanding though of the universe, it's that there are those folks who, and I've listened to a bunch of them. Don't get me wrong, and they all say, "Well, this is fixing, and that's going to do, and this is happening." I listen to the galactic folks and the ET folks and the this, and it's like about 2 years ago, I was like, "Okay, I'm giving up on them sons of guns." Well, we're going to come down. You're going to get the med beds, and you're going to have all this stuff. I've heard that for 15 years or more and ain't seen it. There are some miraculous things that have kind of sort of appeared. There's interesting things going on, but what they said was going to happen by now ain't happened. Just saying. So, will I still listen to some of it? Yeah, but they're still repeating shit that they said 15, 20 years ago. Okay. So, but I've seen my own UFOs. I've seen, them being blowed up and scattered across the night sky. I've had my own intervention with 3 days on the river when the spirits took me and off I went. So I don't have to rely on someone else's experience, although y'all sit and listen to mine, and thank you. Um, but the idea, though, that how do you tell? The old adage back in the day, and it still works, is you swallow it. And if it gives you indigestion, then it must not be right. Or sleep on it. Or like, well, I used to go gangbusters. Oh, these people said this, 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 and this. And then later on, I was so believing it and so into it. And then later on, I got let down big time. So now I listen to things and go, well, that's interesting. Well, Hawkeye, do you believe it? It's an interesting theory. Now, there are some things certain folks talk about that resonate, that just hits a chord right here in my chest. And I go, they're right. They're right about that. And they're right about that. And they're right about that. And so if I get two or three hits, I say, of someone saying something that vibrates within me, then I can trust more of what this person would say. Now, for example, not trying to pull any names or anything, and Cliff don't know me from Adam, but I've watched Cliff High and some of the woo stuff and things that he's talked about over the years, and there is a lot that I agree with Cliff on. Some of it I'm like, I'll take with a grain of sand, but I don't necessarily agree with. But a lot of it I do. And because of my own experiences, not because of he said it was so, but they relate to things that I have known, understood, found out myself, or something. And I go, yeah, I agree with him. I agree with him. I agree with him. Sort of, well, that could be possible, but so, and I just bring him up because a lot of folks know who Cliff High is. But Jody, in simple, if it does give you a headache or it seems like it could be true, keep it a maybe. Yeah. And even there's been some silly, stupid stuff that I've listened to over the years. Um, yes, Mossy Man, we can be manipulated and deceived due to our lack of understanding and full knowledge. I absolutely agree with you. And that's why, for me, there are certain things that I've talked about because it's somehow it has resonated with me. I've seen, heard myself, or have first person, like I told the story of the young black man that went to the root doctor that lives, up here in South Georgia, North Florida area kind of thing, over around Quincy. And there were people here in this area that knew about this root doctor. So, he told me the story of how he was cured. And then other people have told me stories about how they were cured by this root doctor. So, when I tell some of these stories, they have something has backed them up. You know what I mean? Whether it be personal experience but anyway, to the point though. Now there are times when I will, talk about stuff. Now it is my opinion or blah, 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 blah. But if it relates to an experience I've actually had, that's different. But anyway, but each of you should have your own experiences and go this is where the honesty comes in. Well, I've heard this from somewhere, but you got to be honest in your heart and go, but do I really think it's true? And that's where if it gives you a headache, I agree with you there, Jody, then it might not be the right answer. Now, at some point, though, there have been some things that were just so weird and cockamamie, I was like, nah, that just gives me a headache. And then later on, part of it was actually true. So I don't disregard everything. Now, I'm not going for the flat earth. I'm sorry. If you're a flat earther, I love you. It's okay. But in your reality, it may be that the earth is flat for you. Now, they were talking about an earth number 2 for years. We're all going to go to earth number 2. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to have that ascension moment. We're all going to go into the next dimension and we're all going to be on earth 2. Ain't seen it yet. I'm just saying. Could it happen? People are still talking, oh, we're on earth number 2. You might be, but not to me. This is still earth number 1. I'm walking around and seeing stuff. No, I think this is still Earth number one. Oh no, we're in Earth number. Ain't gonna argue with you. Okay, that's your opinion. That's how you perceive it. That's how you understand it. I will respect and honor what you believe. There ain't no sense of me getting upset because if it doesn't resonate with me, then I'll listen to you up to a point until it gets to the point of being badgered about it. Badger, assaulted. Hey, Mary wins. I was seated in between my girlfriends, both waiting for an hour. Popped into my head, it burst out, and so we laughed. And yep. Um, use your intuition, your knowing, and spirit connection with great spirit. Yep. But see what I was talking about. Damn, it's been over. This is over 2 hours long, y'all. It's great hanging out with y'all. There was 25 people in here at one time. Thank you. But in the understanding of the self, you have to ask the question, and then, like a cow chews its cud, right? Mull on it for a couple of days. You go, well, I had this dream and it means this. Maybe not. I'm just saying. It might be, well, I saw it and this is what it means. Well, okay. But in my experience of just having dreams and visions, and some of them horrible visions, and many of them have come true or are coming true right now. And in that, though, in that we have to believe in enough in ourselves, but we also have to be honest and tell the truth with ourselves. It's 2:26. I missed it. Jody, what'd you say? Um, I only asked because of a card reading involving Weasel, and the message of hidden agenda has been on my mind for a while, and considering a few other shamans and spirit leaders I listen to, who do say almost the exact same thing and have mentioned exactly what you said would be happening in the future about learning something like Hinduism and a meteor and an island and other things. Yeah, Miss 420 somewhere. Um, and there's a lot of cosmic stuff going on right now. I mean, the 5 waves of energy, the cosmic waves coming in that have been spotted and seen, on the various um, satellites up there around the sun. But one of the things, and it was really interesting. I've been a subscriber to Dabu 77 or whatever, Dabu for a while, right? And he does some things, and he's always tries to does his voice to sound so anyway. Um, but like, do you talk like that all the time, brother? But anyway, a video he did the other day about something anyway, but he goes, if you people out there, he said, I've been showing this for years, and I've been telling folks, and when I could share a screen, I did it. Brian and I did something years ago about it, but if you look at the LASCO cameras and so forth, and you can see all these spaceships running around out there in our solar system, and they're going this way and that way. Some of them are chasing each other, and some of them are two or three and going side by side. And nobody wants to talk about that stuff. Well, the big news the other day was SpaceX, and was there an alien ship or something that they almost ran into? Oh, well, it was space debris, or it was something, and they couldn't anyway. Here's the thing, though. I've seen on the ISS feeds myself when there's this great big, gymongous, come out of nowhere spaceship, and the feed stops. And somewhere I got a video of me videoing the television when they were doing this. But we have to accept that this exists, and that people are going to freak out about it. Now, what's that got to do about spirituality? Because spirituality has nothing to do with religion. Hinduism is a philosophy. Basically, other people turned it into a religion. The real Saint Francis, he started out, and they wanted to burn him at the stake at one point because he was blessing the farmers' goats and chickens and stuff, and he was making potions and things out of herbs and stuff. And there were folks in the church that wanted to burn him at the stake for being a witch. And then they turned around and then made a religion out of him. And he went to the, Vatican and told them, no, I don't want an order named after me. And so, and now the Pope that's supposed to be the Pope, it's actually, he's using the name as blasphemy. But anyway, so whether or not we're right about the moon coming back or asteroids or whatever, I ain't going to worry about it anymore. Could it happen? You damn right. But if I'm going to worry, there are a lot of other things I'm going to worry about first before I worry about an asteroid. Is all I'm saying. And if it does happen and the Earth changes, well, where I got my kayaks, I can float about anywhere, But and I've got PFD, so I'm going to float. How long can I tread water? I don't know, but with a flotation device, maybe quite a while. Yeah, can feel forces changing. Yeah, guys, me too. So we're gonna call it 4:30. It's 2:31. So, but we're 11 minutes late because we might be slightly stoned. Too many people are worried about the particulars in certain words. Well, the Bible says this. Well, what does your gut tell you? You know, and the Akashic record and using whale song to just think about it. Close your eyes and think about a movie of the whales and how they crash the water. Mr. Mensa, how you doing? Coldest April for 60 years in the UK. It's been very pleasant down here, but I agree with you there. Um, but see, we're going into the Mandarin minimum with the sun, which is a cyclical thing, which has been recorded, and we can kind of bank on that. You know what I mean? Not something that's superstitious, okay? And for those of us who remember an orange sun when we grew up as kids, yellow, and now it's more blue, if you can see it through the fake clouds. And man, they were spraying today like to beat the band. Even at nighttime, they were spraying. And for those of you who have watched the Dante channel, they did a video recently of showing chemtrails, and that one of the ones that was putting out trails wasn't even an airplane. Guess what? I saw one of them today. But it was going too fast, but there were no wings, there was no fuselage. It was just something and lots of smoke coming out the back. And I was like, that there's no, because most of it, I can see the airplanes from here. I mean, there was no airplane. And I was like, now, there you go. See for yourself. So it's the bad guys that want to get rid of us for a bunch of darn reasons because they feel that they can, and there's too many of us, and we are nothing but a bunch of savages and idiots down here, and So we just have to put that in the equation. And if you're feeling wonky on a particular day, somebody somewhere, you could be getting in some of them fumes of whatever these crazy people are trying to do to us. Yes, it's affecting us, but if we focus on staying well, because I looked at it and I was like, damn it, you guys are doing it heavy today. So I'm going to send my prayers out to the good guys up there who are trying their best to neutralize it, you know? So rather than curse at the fumes, I send prayers out and hope that the good guys, you see that one right there? Neutralize that one, please. Holy crap. So that's what I'm working on. So take the anger out of it and turn it into, let me pray, send positive to the universe and go, I know there are good angels out there. I know there are good entities out there. Whoever you are, wherever you are, please neutralize whatever it is they're spraying. And, so I don't feel helpless. You know what I mean? Well, I can't do anything about it. Well, yes, I can. I can pray to the good guys, whoever they may be. Through rain and storm, through thick and thin, I'll do my best and never give in. That's good, Buzz. Yeah, and as I said before, some of the native chiefs, chiefs, chiefs years ago, um, said, if you shake your fist at it, that's just anger. You're just putting anger into it. So he said, just say, oh, look, they're doing it again. Creator, before that hits the ground, may you turn it into something useful, or whatever. So it was this native. If we only think about it as being bad, then it is bad, because then we give it credit to be bad and we accept it as being bad. And all that is tied in with it. So whether or not we actually, and I would much rather believe that I would send my prayers up there and ask those guys to neutralize it, versus sit here and curse it and worry about whether or not I'm getting cancer, or if that's what's affecting my memory. Don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. So these are the types of things, and we have to have enough ego and strength, like the badger, and say, um, there goes another one. All right, we're all going to get together, and I'm going to ask all my friends in the League of Like-Minded Beings to let's make those things neutralize. Not go away or what, just neutralize them for whatever their harm, whatever it is. Neutralize. That's all. We send that thought. Neutralize. You can send love and all that, but neutralize. That's the command. Neutralize. So we want to do all of these things, but if enough of us are thinking about it, then I absolutely believe that we can change the outcome, right? There's already too much proof that folks who meditate and do and so forth like that. So, but anyway, so Witchmoon says, yes, 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 we are so much more than most of us know. Yes. Dear Mary, you sweethearted, blessing to all from you're on the Emerald Isle, Jamie. But anyway, so, and one of the things that has, keeps coming up is to believe, 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 believe. Now, for what Jody was talking about earlier, in that, how do we know that what we hear is truth? Well, we can keep it in our little collective minds, and you probably learned through listening to people on your own that they're preaching about something. Well, I am preaching, I guess, and I am preaching love, but not, I hopefully not in a preachy kind of way, but absolutely peace, absolutely honor, absolutely respect, absolutely. But in our life stories for each one of us, There are those people we're going to honor more than someone else simply because they gave us honor and respect back. Um, so we honor everyone, but if we received a lot of honor and respect back, that just kind of kicks it up a notch, you know? It just does. Well, but this person's a really good person, but you've had really close contact with someone else, and they're your brother or sister, but that respect and that honor, because you know them and it's become more personal, that honor is even more validated. Okay. Although should respect and honor everybody equally, it doesn't really work out that way. Why? Because we know some people more intimately than we know other folks. So it's like, that's how it goes. But everybody has the connection. And as everyone, without putting some kind of guarantees or whatever on it, that's why I'm always just saying accept and receive. Well, what about this information? Well, let's have a conversation about what does it sound like to you? Does this sound like this is a conversation that like you should believe this, that it should become part of you as your person? Is it something that you should carry in your backpack on on the red road, or is it something that you keep the thought, you keep the memory, you keep that philosophy, you know, versus carrying a book with you? Well, there's all this stuff in this book, and I'm going to carry this book with me. Well, do you need the book, or have you read enough of the passages that you get the gist of it? Like with the Bible, for me, I think Jesus was a special person. And Sister Helene in 1970 told me that Jesus went to study Buddha, about Buddha and those Eastern religions. And that he came back to try to get people to see another type of way of life other than um, Judaism, where they were sacrificing animals and doing all this stuff. And that's why Jesus went into the temple and knocked over all the money changers and said, get out of the house of the Lord, kind of thing, and they thought he was nuts. And that sealed his fate, you know what I mean? So, but in the understanding of it, though, even though the church is, quote, Christ, Christian church, everybody's got to donate. Everybody has to tithe. Everybody has to give 10% of what they make, and put it to the church, um, you know, to a lot of people. I'm sorry. I'm not giving 10% of what I earned to something I don't believe in simply because, St. Peter said so in something and it's part of the deal now. No, Jesus never asked for anything. Anywhere he went, it was given to him. It was offered to him. So these Christians, well, we're going to pass the hat. We're going to, everybody chip in, right? Little old ladies digging in their purse because, they want to buy their way into heaven. And it's just so interesting that people have learned this philosophy that because they're unsure of the nature of spirit, that they got to ensure, well, I'm going to go to church and the pastor's going to thing, and I'm going to put money, I'm going to take my hard-earned pension check and give it to the pastor and all that kind of thing, because they feel obligated, well, maybe this will save my soul, to give to the church and to do these things, well, could you give that money to somebody else, or but to the point, though, there are all these different churches, all these different places, and everybody's got to, keep them up, the upkeep and all this, the air conditioning, whatever has got to be done to them. So there's all this money that's going to the church, and Christ taught in an open field, you know, And then he fed them with, fishes and loaves. But he didn't ask to everybody pass the hat and give him anything. So things, I look at the basics. What did Jesus do? What did Jesus say? And it's the same thing in Buddhism. It's the same thing in many of the other native, not just Native Americans, but in native cultures. There are a few superstitions here and there, but to give honor to the gods. Oh well, the Vikings and the Nordics and all that. Well, if to the gods, well, that's one way of saying it. But if we just say thank you to the universe, I went to a sunrise ceremony that was done by an Inca medicine man from South America at a powwow thing we were doing, and many of the people were there, and they were going, so you're worshiping the sun, and he said, no. But I'm not worshiping the sun. I'm giving thanks that the sun came up. I'm not worshiping the sun. Y'all got this wrong. I'm giving honor to the morning. I'm giving honor to the birds. I'm giving honor to the new day. I'm giving honor. Thank you, however this works, because back then they didn't know that how the earth and everything worked per se. I think they had an understanding of like, sun go up, sun go down, but we must be spinning. But anyway, um, so this idea that they're no giving respect and thanking the universe for the sun coming up is totally different than what white people want to say about they're worshiping the sun, and it just isn't that. So when we take into consideration that we can stand outside and raise our arms to the sky and simply say, thank you to the creator of all things. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to the quantum where this information is always there. Thank you to the great mystery. And if you look out into the universe, it's a lot of darkness out there. So there are these beams of light, and we are part of these beams of light. So Mr. Mensa, intuition. Okay. I haven't been reading it because they have asked me to like pay attention to this. But anyway, so remember, we are all enlightened beings. Just stick with that. And there are lots of slogans and phrases and things that we can use and we come up with. There's nothing wrong with that. But remember, always remember that in here it's good. We all work together in here. That sharing and understanding with each other and learning and having conversation, and we have to remember that every single one of us, I grew up down here, but there are people up on the hill that are 500 yards away from the house, 400 yards, something like that. Anyway, 100 yards, I don't know, up the hill. And they've lived here all their life, but how they view it is up there on the hill. How I view it is from down on the bottom of the hill looking up. So they have to look at my mess, you know. Um, but how they lived here, my neighbor over here, how they've lived here, the neighbor over there, we've all lived in this neighborhood, but we've all had a different experience of living here and growing up here, you know, uh, 500 feet away, 600 feet away, a little bit further down the road. We all we've all lived in this neighborhood, but we don't have the same opinion in this neighborhood. We may all kind of sort of feel sort of alike, but but so we've lived here, but does that mean we all think alike? No, we don't. So, but we all are, with our memories and our energies and our thought patterns, especially when we believe it, that we can connect, and we do connect, especially when we come in here. And it's almost going on 3 hours here. I can't believe it. But see, this whole idea that, um, how do I put this? I think there are monks, and I kind of sort of am feeling this myself. And I talked about it before, in that there are times when I'm out picking or doing or walking in the woods with Duggar that I feel like I'm in a state of grace. And I don't mean some kind of blessing, something, but there's something about how I feel, my connection with nature, and there's just something about it. Yeah, I'm 68 and a half. And so, and I've been retired for a few years. So I have the opportunity to do this, but I can understand where monks and people and, men and women who devote themselves to, to the earth and the gardens and, you know, not necessarily solitary confinement, but sometimes it ends up being that way. Somebody said way early on about sometimes you have to do it by yourself without a mate. And sometimes it just that's how it works out. And you have to accept it, because I remember I spent, 2 years trying to find a mate because I thought I had to have one. And then I quit doing that. It was like, wow, things just changed for me, But anyway, but the idea, though, that that I had to have somebody, I had to have a soulmate, I had to have it obsessed my brain. I mean, literally, I got to find that other person. You know, maybe that other person is in another planet on another plane somewhere, and ain't here this time around. Just saying. I might have a soulmate or soul being or something, but it ain't here this time around. And if so, they're someplace else and busy, and that's okay. But I was a woe is me. Oh, I didn't. I wanted to be with someone. They just didn't want to be with me. So whoops, that's how that worked out. But so this idea that if you have someone and you do share something, that is extra special, and make sure that you keep it that way. You make sure that you keep it special. You sit down and you hold hands, you hug and kiss, and are affectionate with one another. That's important. If you ever start losing that touch with your partner, you know that's it. Separate bedrooms, and but anyway, um and there are some people that literally can't sleep together. Okay. They're like, nah, you sleep in the other bedroom, but they still love each other. I knew some friends of mine that in their older age, he just snored tremendously. And she's like, I just, I'm sorry, I love you, but there's your bedroom and this one's mine. I sleep here, we keep our clothes, and they were both perfectly comfortable with that, because he did snore. He said, I know, I wake myself up snoring. So, but anyway, and so sometimes people make those arrangements, but they love each other enough to know to be able to say, listen, I love you, but unless you can picture snoring or whatever, I'm going to sleep in the other room. And not be mad or jealous or upset, because if you love them and they love you, then you can make those kind of arrangements without it being about, oh, if you don't sleep with me, we're anyway. But then that brings in a higher realm of thinking. That brings in a higher level of trust, and with all this trust and everything, it's important that if we can't find anybody that we can trust with our money or whatever, never mind. If there are people that you just um Holy crap. Sometimes the chat just jumps right on by. I was trying to read and it's like, nope, never mind. There it goes a jumping again, and y'all talking amongst yourselves. Um, so we have to be able to be honest with ourselves about our feelings and without trying to interpret them. The more we try to make sense of them, the worse it'll get. It'll make you crazy. Allow the answer to come. Well, you've seen a vision or something came to you. And don't get me wrong, it's not that you can't go, I've had some of these and I go, now I wonder what the hell that shit was about. What the dickens, man? What's this thing with a something in a, what the hell? But where I used to spend days on certain dreams and go, what's the meaning of this thing? And got to stay out of that for your own safety and for your own good, because what will happen, as I've talked about before, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but Creator will give us the answer. It showed us a picture, it gave us a vision, it showed us a dream or something, but whatever it means and the meaning of it unfolds by itself. So take a deep breath. If you've had something, write it down so you can go back to it and look at it and go, yeah, that's right. That's the way I remember it. Yeah. Because sometimes the mind will play tricks on you and will change certain things in the dream, right? And so write it down for your own benefit. Because then later on you can go back and go, I think I get what that means right there now. I had a dream years ago of this shaman who was walking in the grass, and I called him the grass dancer, and I wrote down a name. It's in one of my books around here somewhere. And I said, that he brought me this dream about the grass dancer, about the child who, he so loved the grass that he had learned how to control the grasses so that they would wave. And when as he got older, when he walked, the grass literally held him up, that he became so holy in that understanding of the grass and of nature, and that he literally could walk on basic not touch the earth, and that he could sleep on it, it would hold him up. And so, but I even drew this little picture of the staff that he had. And later on, I went back through it, and I was like, oh my God, I've seen that staff somewhere before. And the thing, oh, holy crap. And this has been years ago. Okay. So what we write down in a dream, and it doesn't make sense to us right away, may literally come to you years later. Now, for those of you, I'm sorry, I'm telling this story. It's a short one again. But many years ago, I was walking. I've got a special place down here in the back that we call the Circle. We've had a lot of fires and drumming and that kind of thing down there, and many of us have seen a portal down there in the woods near where the Circle is. Now the Circle is there because when the loggers came in 30 some odd years ago and took out all the trees, they would come in and they made a turnaround right there. And after they got all the pine trees off, because they were sold when I bought the property, that's why it was so cheap. I swore to the land that would never happen again, at least in my lifetime. So there grew in a circle pine trees around it, and I didn't plant any of them. And they came up, and it's not a perfect circle, but it's pretty damn close. And so in that circle is where I thought, I will honor this place by having my ceremonies there. And so, the trees are still there. There's a lot of shrubs and things that needs burned this year, but many of quite a few people we would go down there and do a drum and do a prayer and do a ceremony. Simple ceremony, but do a ceremony. and some of the stuff that people have seen, witnessed, felt, and that kind of thing, over the years, I'm the only one that goes down there, more or less, that and the critters. And there are some spirits walking through there. Um, right now it's a little difficult to get to because some trees have fallen down, and I gotta clear some trails. There's been a lot of dead wood fall in places that it just is not easy to get around. But anyway, but the story. And I was walking down to the clearing one day, taking one of my trails and going down behind the house and walking down. And I got to a spot, and there was a log that's off to the right of the clearing. And I looked over there, and I would have swore I saw an old man sitting on the stump. And he turned and looked right at me. And I went, "What?" Because he looked familiar. And then it was gone. So many years later, I was like, I made this little story up about the man was sitting on a log and blah 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 blah. And then a little while, about a year ago or so, I was down in the clearing, and I turned, and I was just sitting and looking, and having prayer. And I turned and looked back towards the house, and swore to God I saw me standing there. I was the old man in the future sitting on this log down there. And I turned around, and I just felt like something was watching me, and there wasn't nobody there. And I turned around, and I swear it was me. And at that instant, I was like, "Oh, holy crap. I saw me in the future, and in the future, I saw me in the past." Now, how did I imagine this? And I think I've talked to Teresa and maybe a couple of you about this. But it still kind of weirds me out in that it was so real. And I was sitting in the same position so that when I turned back towards the house, I was in the same position that I remember seeing the person turn and look at me, because I didn't call out to the person when I saw the old man. And then I realized, oh, because at the time that it happened, I kind of wondered, you know, um, is that me in the future, or was that me from a previous past? Because I feel I'm reincarnated here on this property in this area on purpose. But then I realized, no, it was me in the future. And I turned the same direction. I had a similar hat on. I mean, I was holding a walking stick, the whole 9 yards. So, when you have those kind of experiences, it took years for the thing to come true. So what you see is a vision, and what it could be, what it is, because I literally I wrote a couple of stories about just the idea of the young man walked up on the old man sitting on a stump, sitting in the middle of this sacred circle. He was, and the story went on from there. Sir, can I sit and chat with you? And the elder man said, yes. My son, sit down on this log with me, and we'll chat about things you need to learn. And so I came up with this storyline, simply from the vision of seeing myself in the future. So I put my own story to what it could mean, but I knew that it was just a story because I didn't really understand what that vision meant. It wasn't a dream, it was a vision. I was standing in the woods when I saw myself. So it was one of those waking dream thingies. But then later on, when I was sitting on a stump and had this really odd, queer feeling, and turned, and I went, holy crap, I'm the guy. I'm the old man on the stump. Some bitch. I mean, it was just like, whoa. So like 15 years or so, at least 10, 12 years, from quote having the vision to being the person on the log. So, but anyway, so we have to take things that we see with a grain of salt and not push the answer. You know what I mean? Well, it means this. It might not, because of all the things that ideas and stories that I came up with from that vision, it wasn't really like it was. It true, old man, myself, but meeting myself or seeing myself as a young man to old and as an old man back to young in the same area of the woods in the same basic setting, that's a holy crap moment. So did I time travel? Did I do some kind of, forward thinking? But then after I was, in the circle and then saw myself in the past, is that time travel? I did it just click a memory? It could have clicked a lot of memories because I've been living on this place for over 35 years. So, but why would I see me standing down in the same place that I was looking? I mean, anyway. So I encourage dreams. I encourage folks to go into the great mystery. But if you're looking for immediate answers on certain things, then I would say you have to learn to be patient. High, my mom used to say I was high on life all the time. That's the best way to be. Not to be stupid, I was high all the time, literally high all the time. I mean, I grew up on a carnival where we woke up at, 10 o'clock in the morning and grabbed a beer, and alcoholism was the way of life. High as a heather kite. You grow roses? That's great, honestly. I got some roses blooming out there. I'm not mowing my yard because there's dandelions all over the place. I've been checking on for those of you who weren't with me or may not have seen that video that I did, the wonderment or blessing of the universe or something. I have found in right beside the driveway going up, I check the mail every day. Oh, and I got the electric bill this month, $27. Yeah, $27 for my electric bill this month. How about that one? You can save if you know what you're doing. But anyway, but I didn't have any fans or anything running or no heaters or anything like that, and I only turn on the hot water when I need it. And it's on a low setting. So, but on the driveway, I found, much to my happiness, some sassafras growing. And sassafras is a root. You don't get it dropped by seed. So I'm still having these wonderful blessing feelings every time I walk by and pet it. And there's a bigger one that's, 18, 20 inches up, pushing 2 foot. And the other one's just a little dinky one about that's tall, about so far away from it. But how it got there, I don't have a clue. And in looking at the blueberries and everything that's on my property up there on the hill, there are at least 50 blueberry bushes in large groups, at least 50. And I'm deciding where to put the trails next. So every time I go blueberry picking, and some of the bushes are just full. Now they're the little rabbit eye ones, so they're small ones. But that's not the point. They're all over the place. So, in the grand scheme of what, people said, well, you should do something to your property. And I was like, well, I don't want to cut the pine trees down. I don't, where my neighbors, they're growing, they intend to cut those trees down on purpose. They have thinned the trees over the years. And I have no intention of doing that. Maybe the odd tree here or there, but they're not clear cutting the place. I made a promise to the property. I was going to leave it alone and let these trees become ancient in their own right, right? So I'm just the caretaker. So how all these blueberry bushes and everything got all over the property, I don't have a clue. I mean, I don't. And over the years, the bushes come up, and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I really wasn't paying attention to what the bushes were. And there are all these wild blueberry bushes all over the place. So, to the universe, the question was, what could I grow up here on this hill that would be useful? And I've tried this and tried that, and nothing worked. I left nature alone, and I got 50 plus blueberry bushes on the side of my hill. Acre and a half maybe from here up to the hill. And so I didn't ask for them. I'm glad they're there. I have when I see them in nature, I always night, Teresa. Much love to you as well. I'm fixing to get out of here too. Um, we'll come down here to 320 and we'll say adios. But the creator in my prayers, like if I were to have something, what would it be? It would be something that would be, that grows wild, was happy where it was growing, and would benefit me in some way. And I got all these blueberry bushes. So I might not be able to sell them, but I will be happy with eating the blueberries and staying healthy from what the blueberries will give me. So my prayers have been so much more than answered simply because I allowed the property I just let nature take its course. Now I'm looking back over it and thinking I really wish that I had spent more time up on the hill, cultivated these things, maybe add a little fertilizer or whatever, to help them along. But the fact that they're up there and doing, and yeah, they need trimmed and certain things. But sleep well, Teresa. That the creator put these things on here for me to use. The mulberries and the blackberries will be in soon. I've noticed that the cherry trees, they're the little tiny little cherries, but they're some people say you can't eat those, and I'm like, why? They're cherries. But anyway, I've noticed that there are a lot of little cherry trees that have popped up everywhere. So it's like they're not much, but I like them, and everything to its season. So here in the springtime and early summer, there's all these berries and things to give me, fresh fruit that I don't have to go buy. What a deal, right? So, but anyway, so I didn't ask specifically, like, I want a bunch of blueberry bushes on my hill. Nope. I was just like, well, creator, if there's something you can stick up there for me that'll be useful, trees or whatever. Okay. And here we go. All these years later and all these trees. So, now it gives me more courage to like, well, if I cleaned up around them and there's some of them, got little ones right beside them, I could separate those. And actually, because we have blueberry farms around here. So I would have my own little private blueberry farm. Now, again, they're the native blueberries, but hey, and that also means since I've got this other blueberry bush at the top of the hill, what thing would grow up here on this hard ass clay? These blueberries. And apparently it likes it up there in the hard ass clay. So who am I to complain? I didn't think anything would grow up there. But with the other blueberry farms around with the big blueberries, and I've got one or two of I've got at least one, maybe two or three of those type blueberries, but it's got a little one growing beside it. So I could take cuttings. I could go buy some blueberry bushes of the bigger kinds because why not? All these blueberries are growing here. So I had not considered that. But there are folks who are, you so much a pint, so much a gallon, you go pick your own or, or they'll pick them. But Having your own fresh to be able to go outside and simply take a little walkabout, forage for food. Now, I know y'all can't do that living in cities and neighborhoods and stuff like that. I know that just isn't possible for y'all. But again, I planned on this back when I was, you know, in my 20s, 30s. I planned this. And so it is the choices that we make. So you say, well, I can't do this right now. Okay, well, then see what you can figure out. Because for people to think that it's going to get better as far as living in neighborhoods and cities and stuff like that, it ain't. It just ain't. I'm sorry, but concrete and things, you just, too many people, everybody scrambling for the same thing. Now, me and one or two other people, we could forage for stuff around here. It wouldn't keep us so necessarily, full fed, but it's a really good supplement to what you may have to buy or go hunt or whatever, right? So you learn how to forage, but if you're in a place where there is nothing to forage, then you're up shit creek. And, I know people are in situations and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get it. But for me, I planned this. And if you need to change or something else, then make your plans. It's been tough staying here, being here, living here, no water. I've been through it all. Hurricanes, tornadoes. But you stick it out. And there are the good days. There are the days with, I ain't got no strawberries on my plants. But I do have lots of blueberries. I do have lots of other berries. I do have, plus the other things that I can grow myself. But to the point, it's just nature. But it's also, and I'm not bragging about this, I'm trying to make a simple statement. I made the choice and stuck with it. And it has been hard, let me tell you, I still got a lot of stuff I'm working on. I probably will never get it all done, but, it's never boring. Anything, I go outside and I look around and go, I don't know where to start on anything. I don't know what to do. I'm going for a walk in the woods with the dog. Shame on me. But shame on me. Uh, I don't know what else to say about that. Like today, I was like, well, I did pick a bunch of mulberries and stuff and do that over there, and scout all around up here for the better, um, um, counting the blackberry, but I'm sorry, the blueberry bushes. And some of these blueberry bushes are like over my head, and there's blueberries hanging up there, where when I go by when I go by the blueberry bushes and the farms over here, they have them on these racks and they lay them over, and so they're not very tall. Maybe up to here if they were sitting straight up. Food to nourish the body, music to nourish the soul, love to nourish the harmony between one and all. Yeah, that's very good, wonderful. Um, but anyway, so it may not seem plausible to you, but I'm so glad that I made a decision 40 years ago to buy this place, to stick it out, to homestead it, regardless, thick and thin, all of the above. Because, having stuck it out, Creator is giving me all these things. And unfortunately, I was blind to what types of bushes they were up there on my hill. Otherwise, I'd have been up there after them blueberries before now, kind of like they're staring right at me, and I couldn't see them. because they don't always have blueberries on them, right? So I'm looking at them and I go, well, lots of bushes I'm watching the forest and the undergrowth. No idea that these are all blueberry bushes, just saying. Um, so I'm going to take that to the bank. It's 3:20 here. So, um, and one of these nights soon, I'm gonna do a drum. All right. If you all will bear with me, they're asking me to. They're asking me to read for you a card that they pulled in my head. Okay, versus pulling it out. We pulled this the other night too. Dear gentleness. Dear, so gentle and loving you are, the flower of kindness and embrace from afar. Now, this is about Fawn, okay, and how she's going on a trip. She's been called by the Creator up on Sacred Mountain. Fawn immediately started up the trail. She didn't know that a horrible demon guarded the way to the Great Spirit's lodge. The demon was trying to keep all the beings of creation from being connected with Great Spirit. He wanted all of Great Spirit's creatures to feel that Great Spirit did not want to be disturbed. This would make the demon feel powerful and capable of causing them to fear him. Fawn was not at all frightened when she came upon the demon. Now, this was curious, as the demon was the archetype of all the ugly monsters that have ever been. The demon breathed fire and smoke and made disgusting sounds to frighten Fawn. Any normal creature would have fled or died on the spot from fright. Fawn, however, said gently to the demon, "Please let me pass. I'm on the way to see the Great Spirit." Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for this oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by Fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten Fawn because her love had penetrated his hardened, ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock hard heart began to melt, and his body shrank to the size of a walnut. Due to the gentleness and caring that Fawn's embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach the sacred mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to this gentleness and caring that Fawn embodied, the pathway, listen, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. Now, they pulled this card in my head and said, "Here, we need to end this tonight about this." 324. Dear teaches us to use the power of gentleness to touch the hearts and minds of wounded beings who are trying to keep us from Sacred Mountain. Like the dappling of fawn's coat, in other words, black, white, spots, brown, both the light and the dark may be loved to create gentleness and safety for those who are seeking peace. If Deer has gently nudged his way into your cards today, you are being asked to find the gentleness of spirit that heals all wounds. Stop pushing so hard to get others to change and love them as they are. Apply gentleness to your present situation and become like the summer breeze, warm and caring. This is your tool for solving any present dilemmas you may be facing. If you use it, you will connect with Sacred Mountain, your centering place of serenity and great spirit will guide you. Now, I read this the other night. I've read this before, but this is almost like poetry in thinking about this. But the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children and creatures to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demon of fear blocking the way. So I said this about 2.5 hours ago, but in that there are times when people are like Rabbit, who goes out and calls, Eagle to come eating and calls for the snake to come get eating, so we call the fears to us. And so if, I'm look, we've talked before, but so I know there are demons and things and stuff out there. Seen a few, don't like them, but I respect them. And ever since I stopped being afraid of them and just honored, okay, I see you over there, then there's sort of almost like yeah, okay, he sees me over there, and you know, he knows it's going to be a bitch if he comes and argues with me in any particular way. So, and that it would be useless. So, and that I'm just, not going to create any trouble that's going to piss him off or her or them off. But when I realized, and it's a hard lesson to learn, buddy, let me tell you, but when you understand that in honoring all things, you also get honor back. And if you even honor the things that are in the darkness, because if only half of the planet is lit at the time, and the rest of the solar system is black. Okay, I mean, it's dark outside, it's black out there. So what's the color of the universe? It's dark, right? So this idea of dark energy, dark matter, that's all I snicker every time I hear it. But in the universe of things, though, we are all here. So therefore, we're all partaking of this. And if you understand all that, yes, there are quarks and molecules and energies and things, absolutely. And that we're all a part of it. We're swimming in it. But we want to make sure that we're not calling the fear to us or towards us. Well, there's these demons out there. Quit talking about them. Yeah, okay. So I've talked about this before, and when I was learning ceremonies with this medicine man, I was saying, there's some things I kind of see out there in the dark. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, those are the things, those are the ones whose name we will not mention. Well, what are they? We don't mention them. We don't name them. But are they, listen, don't talk about it. And I mean, that's what I was told. They were like, no, well, yes, there's demons, but then there's those that we will not name. And but no, quit asking. If you see something and while you're doing a ceremony or something tries to come in and whatever it is, because sometimes when you're doing a good ceremony, there are negative entities that would like to, come in and mess with you. So you got to keep your wits about you and what goes flying around, and what happens. So, and very interesting, I might add. Um, I haven't danced like that in a while and kind of need one, I think. Um, I need an open spot where I'll trip over another. Uh, but if we are assured of who we are and are strong with the ego that says, I got this, and if we remember Fawn with the innocence. So I remember of this Italian movie, and it was about Saint Francis, the real Saint Francis back in the day, and he was teaching the other priests there at the church and the monastery. And so there was this real mofo SOB that was the bad guy in the city. And he would always push the priest, and the priest would give out bread and do and help. And this guy was, always trying to rough him up. And so, and this one monk, he would offer him a bread, or he would offer him some, get away from me. And he would slap him and hit him and knock him down and treat him like shit. And the guy would get back up and, would you like her? And he would say, I'm sorry. And he was like, what are you saying sorry for? Well, I'm sorry you feel that, you have to kick. What? I'm sorry you feel that you have to hit me. I still pray for you. And the guy hit him again, and I mean, this went on and on and on and on and on. And and the guy, whoever played the monk, he would just have these little puppy dog fawn eyes and look at this hard-nosed critter, and the guy just finally caved. It took months, but the guy finally caved, because he refused to, he lived in peace no matter what this guy did. It wasn't like he went to the guy every day to get a beating, but he went to the guy every day to offer him something, and bread or something, fruit, or, just to offer him something and to say, peace be unto you, my brother. And it would get out of here, anyway. Or, or the guy would come up when the priest was giving out, bread or helping the poor or something like that. But anyway, so listen, everybody, it is 3:32 in the morning time. It's 3 hours and 17 minutes. It is good that you all were here. Yeah, don't give your power away to the shadows. Or is it only dark in the shadow of the earth? Nope, it's dark out there. But it's not a bad thing. That's the point. Just because it's dark doesn't mean it's bad. And in the darkness of our dreams is where we find the light. So you have to go into the darkness to find the light. And without the darkness, there would be, there would be no light. But anyway, people put too much into, it's in the darkness. But in learning about those that we do not speak of, they're nasty critters, and we'll just leave it at that. We're not going to talk about it. That some tribe may have a name for them, but those who I've been around or go, well, we've got this devil and we've got that thing over there, but then there's what we don't talk about, those that we do, so every tribe has a sort of the being we do not name. And I mean, as soon as you make the statement, you clear your head of whatever it is. So you don't dwell on that will not be named. We don't dwell on it. We don't try to think of what it is, but that's what we don't, and you just accept it. And in your travels of doing ceremonies and, if those beings come to, somehow to be seen, You don't want to name them. You don't know who they are. You don't, all you're going to do is say, I'm here for peace and light. And you are welcome. If you are here for peace and light, if you're here for destruction, I ask you to stay back. So in any ceremony, I don't try to control what goes on. In that before I used to put forth all this energy. Oh, if a negative energy comes in, and I'm like, that'll suck your energy right out. You have to turn that around and say, listen, every being has the opportunity to be here, but this little circle right here, right now, is a sacred circle, and I'm doing so for this ceremony. And you can watch from over there, and but I'm asking you to honor my ceremony. I thought I heard a kitten. I think I have a kitten somewhere around here. But anyway, so hey, D Ocean. So with all this stuff that goes on, don't be like Rabbit and call the fears to you. Stop naming things and stop using demons and stuff, and just stop talking about the devil, because then you give it energy. So yes, these things exist, but quit talking about them. Well, the negative and the thing, okay, we know. All right, move on, but quit talking about them, because you're just like Rabbit and you're calling those things to you. And there are a lot of people who don't understand this, but I stay out of the you know naming things and stuff and this, that, and the other thing. And yes, there are negative energies out there, but of all the years that many of you have known me, um, I will chit chat around them and buy them, but we ain't staying on it. There are a lot of channels are always talking about, well, the demons here and the Anunnaki were the bad guys and all these people did this thing and all the negatives. And it's like, okay, sure, they existed, but there are other things that exist that we still don't see. When I was talking about earlier this evening about the on my Facebook page, I put up pictures down here by the campsite that where there's orbs down there in the woods. Not a bunch of them, but they're there. And then I was going through some pictures today from down on the river from a year ago, and oh my God, there's hundreds of orbs. And so there are certain places that are really special with a lot of stuff going on. And two of the places that I know are, they're both on the edge of the river. In the river, even. I've got pictures of the front of the kayak with all these orbs in front of me. It's amazing. I mean, just literally littering the sky, in front of me. Like about 5 o'clock in the morning, out on the lake, taking pictures with different place settings. I'm going to put some more of them up on my Facebook page, and if I can figure out how to upload them on with YouTube. I'm slow with learning stuff, but anyway, yes, and they did tinker with this, okay, but there were some other folks who were here before the Anunnaki that tinkered with this too, because we have to understand that whenever the caveman dwindled out and Homo sapien showed up, we weren't the same people. The Homo sapiens, the uprights that were walking around, they already knew how to sharpen spears and make stuff out of flint. They already had certain mechanics, where the historic, sure enough, Neanderthals, not so much. They had stone clubs and stuff, but they weren't near as good with napping flint and things like that. So I for years people are like, well, how do you believe in aliens? Because two cavemen sitting around a fire did not put the right amount of zinc and copper and whatever and put it in a bowl and make metal out of it. No. I have done metallurgy and it is still difficult. Okay. So this idea that somehow these cavemen, just figured this out on their own. I could see them coming up with a wheel because logs rolled and all other, you could pick up a stick and you got a weapon. So, it wouldn't take much to move that along. But to go, copper ore on one side of a mountain and something else on the other side of a mountain, and you're going to figure this out by sitting at the fire. Oh, yeah. They figured, no, they didn't. Somebody showed them how to do this. And well, who was it? It was the ancestors. Well, the ancestors is what showed them to use flint. Flint is a sacred, is a sacred stone in many ways because it was given the earth so that man would always have tools. I've got a piece of flint sitting, a big piece of flint sitting in the window. And I've got flint out there that I picked up over the years. And it's like, if I ever need to make an arrowhead, and I got one, I still found this little one the other day. That's a perfect example, you know, that I found around here. And so it's like, Creator gives us everything we need. If I ever need to make a bow and arrow, I've got bows and I know how to make them, and I know how to make arrows out of stuff, and I've got flint. So if I needed to use them or go that way, I had them. Now, if it were back in the pioneer days, um, that big piece of flint or arrowheads would be definitely worth trading. Not everybody knew how to nap out of um, an arrowhead. So what did people trade with back in the day? Well, hey, I got these 12 arrowheads here, that I'm carrying around with me. You want to trade for a couple of them? Yeah, man, I can't make arrowheads, and they trade. But anyway, and created life while drunk. I think that explains it a lot. Beer goggles. Yep. Think about the platypus, you know. And if you've seen some of the things like some of these big turtles and stuff we've got in the lakes and rivers and creeks around here. We pulled up a turtle one time on a trout line by accident down in the river, and this thing it was 150 pounds, easy, humongous snapping turtle. They showed one on I don't know, a YouTube I was watching the other day, and pulled out a big snapping turtle, and it was a good size one, but this one we had was even bigger, and I was like, so every time I see one of these ones that other people pull up these big snapping turtles, and then remember the size of the one that we had, but it's not so much the size, it's how old they are. Ancient things are living in the swamps. Ancient things. And, surprise the crap out of me. You know what I mean? So, and they got to be living somewhere. They have lived down here, I don't know how old a 150-pound snapping turtle is, but, it's probably at least 100 years old. So that snapping turtle has been here, my 40 years plus 60, or then some. Oh my God. And, as many times as I've been in the river and swam in it and all kinds of stuff, never seen one until we hooked it by accident. So, but anyway, people say, well, things don't exist, or they're not real, or just because you don't see them don't mean they don't exist. You know, I would never have thought there's a 150-pound snapping turtle live in my backyard, sort of thing, and that travels through. Until we caught it. Same thing with, well, I've seen the otter and the beavers, but uh, there was we were standing on the bridge down here one day, just looking at the river, And this great big giant, oh my God, bigger around than the snapping turtle was, but a soft shell, a big, like, big soft shell. I mean, a big one. And I was like, how are these things living in the river? What are they eating? No wonder there's not any fish so much anymore. But, um, I would have, and I saw it, but then my shaman friend saw it, and I was like, did you see how we ran to the other side of the bridge and saw it, swim upstream into the Narrows? Like, what? It was bigger than some of the places that you could get through because I've been up there with the kayak and the canoe. And, there are narrows up there that I can't even get a kayak, and it's only 30 inches wide kind of thing. And that turtle was bigger than 30 inches, right? So anyway, the reason I bring this up is in nature of all things, simply in the universe, there are things simply because we don't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. And had I not visually seen these things in my own backyard, here and there, then people would say, well, that something like that wouldn't exist down there. Okay. You don't have to believe me, but I wished I had pictures, but, was too busy fighting this humongous giant snapping turtle that was pissed off, and not jump over the middle of the water. And it being like 12:15 in the morning kind of thing on the river. But anyway, I love you all. I do. Thank you. Merry winds. Spirit moves in mysterious ways. Yes, it does. And snapping turtles are cool. Yeah, but they will hurt you. Let me tell you, they will hurt you. Do not mess with them. They will move around. They can hurt you just by, with their claws and stuff. They will hurt you. And people want to go, oh, look, it's just a turtle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, noodling. Yeah. I have watched noodling. A merry winds, it's when you literally go down in the water and put your hand down under logs and you use noodling as they used to wiggle your finger and call the fish out and then literally stick your hand in the fish's mouth and pull them out. And I'm sorry. Now, if I was out there and I went with somebody that had, was doing it, but I've been in the river in my backyard, and there are places I am just not gonna stick my hand. Okay. Now, my river has been to the point where there was not even a trickle of not even a trickle of water going down the river. I mean, it dry. It's been like that a couple of times since I've been on the property. Thank God it ain't like that now. But the idea, though, that I've seen the bank, in other words, when the water is really low and you can walk through the bottom of the river and, and you see over there, but I ain't sticking my hand in there. I might poke it with a stick, but I ain't sticking my hand in there. And there are places down on the Ochlockonee River. I just ain't sticking my hand down there. Now, I have seen very few moccasins in the last bunch of times that I've been on the river. I've seen some water snakes, but no moccasins. And not to say they ain't there, but usually you can spot them. No moccasins. So, but I still ain't sticking my hand down in some of them roots and places down in there because I ain't doing it. Now, if I was out in Oklahoma and some of them places that are more open that I've seen them go down in, maybe. But down here, nah, sorry, ain't doing it. I'll go down there. I'll go gigging with you. I'll go down there and go, we'll take us a gig pole and whatever and see what we can find or, but I am not sticking my hand in there. That's all there is to it. Only, yeah, I had spaghetti the other day too, by the way. I haven't made spaghetti in a while, but I bought some hamburgers. I was going to make, I wanted some meatloaf, and I just was not in the mood to try to, and I just ended up making spaghetti. It was really good. Me and the cats and the dog ate a bunch of it. So, anyway, yeah, I'll go fishing in a lot of places, and I'll go down swamping and wading and things like that. But as you know, I'm gonna be wearing shoes, but I ain't sticking my arm in some of them places I've been in. I just ain't. I have, and almost put my hand on top of a moccasin one time, collecting driftwood and that type of thing. But no, I'm gonna use a stick or something or a paddle or something. If you're out doing those kind of things, there's these little crowbars. They're, I don't know, about yay long, and it's a T, you know, and it's a little heavy. But here's the thing, you can use it for digging, crashing, bashing, whatever. And if there's a snake in there, you can beat them to death with it. But if you're pulling out, hauling out logs out of a log jam. You've got two ends, and you can prise with it, and whatever to get driftwood out, but without getting yourself hand bit. But anyway, I live by Lake Palestine. You should see some of those cats they pull out of there. Oh, the catfish, Palestine. Yeah, the biggest things I worry about a catfish is stepping on them, because back when I was fishing out of Gulf of Mexico, and I grew up in Tampa, and we'd go out to different places around the bay and go fishing. But the worst thing about catching a catfish was getting stuck. Them sail cats who we'd get in, man, you'd be trying to hold them or whatever, and they'd put that big fin up in the back, and it'd jab you, stab you. And we used to fish off the Gandy Bridge on the catwalks on the side of the bridges down there, and you catch a big fish, and you have to get him off. So there's fish, flopping around on the catwalk. And if you're wearing any kind of low cut sneaker or something, get jabbed in the damn ankle or something, and things would swell up and hurt your ass on a heartbeat. So I'm more worried about that on a catfish. And I had a mud turtle snapping at him. Holy crap! A friend of mine worked underwater welding on the bridge, put an hour into when a catfish the size of a Volkswagen. I swam by him in Ohio. Sail cat. Okay. Um, I did the sailboat thing, but we also did the sail cat thing too. And it was a sail fin something anyway. Little sailing boat. I really miss sailing. I really do. Um, and I found out I have to renew my fishing license um, for my Georgia. It's like $10 a year. I don't care if it helps with the fisheries and stuff. That's helps keep the parks going. I'm all for it. So other people are like, yeah, when you pay anyway. I got a senior discount, and I can go anywhere to any wildlife management area. I can fish anywhere on any stream, or even in wildlife management areas, state forest, not, and some state parks, depending on how big they are. So and depending on the season, but for $10 a year plus whatever tax, what the hell. But anyway, my canoe, I have often considered sail, putting a sail on it. And I found out that if I put a sail on it, I would immediately have to get, because it's 17 foot, I would have to register it anyway. So I was like, well, damn, I was just going to put a little sail on this thing, maybe take it down to the lake and, sail it around it. Nah, I'd get caught for sure. So, but anyway, and if you get caught with without a life preserver, it was $65 a piece. Yeah, buddy. So, and it's only $70, I think, for 3 years to permit my boat, and I can put any kind of whatever on it I want to. So, to register it with the state. So it's like, why not? And I did a bunch of research, and I'm gonna go with battery. I've got a small outboard motor kicker thing, but by the time I take gas and this and that and blah blah blah, and you got a broom broom. Anyway, I'm gonna upgrade, and I've already got several batteries, and I've already got battery chargers. And if I, kept batteries swapped out and got a 40-pound thrust. I was watching these guys who built a houseboat with, plastic barrels, and they had a 40-pound Minn Kota, and they were tooling right down this river, just humming along, and it's a big old thing. I'm talking about a canoe. So if I get a 40-pound thrust or so with this canoe of mine, me and Duggar ought to be able to just fly. So, but anyway, and and it's quiet. I could sneak into places with it where an outboard motor, you'd hear me coming or going or whatever. And if I can get the right, you know, power with electric motors, then I'm just going to go electric because I can recharge the batteries, and I've already got the panels. I've got to figure out how to. The one's pretty good size tall, but still, I could still put it in the canoe, and it could still help trickle charge and keep at least one battery ready. So, but anyway, um, Ashland, that's right. Yeah, might be up your way this summer, David. Um, actually, I'm going to Ohio to see my relatives. So, and had told my sister that um, her daughter Mary lives in up corner of Tennessee and North Carolina, and but anyway, would be actually coming across there at Ashland and going down uh, that side of Kentucky into Tennessee. We'll see though. But anyway, um, I'm heading out of here. I ran out of coffee. I ran out of something to drink, and by now I have to pee. So, being that old person that I am, but it has been nice hanging out with you all again. Thank you for hanging out with me. For all of you who are out there and sharing with people, you keep up the good work. I encourage you to keep up the good work. And as you know, I'm not going to apologize for reading about the deer and the fawn because of all the things that we could remember is just that, yeah, there's stuff out there, but if we don't call them to us, we're okay. We can all reach the Great Spirit. It's always available to us. So don't lose faith. Keep the faith. Crazy shit always happens. That's the mystery of life. We have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring, but ain't it going to be fun to find out? So I love you all. Take care. Um, y'all stay safe. And David Castle, if you're talking to me, yeah, if we come through there, I will somehow will get in touch. It we're visiting folks and not necessarily like on a tight schedule, but if I was passing your area and we could do lunch or something, that'd be cool. Just say hi to each other and that'd be cool. So, but anyway, so I love you all. Have a great morning, a great day. Thank you, Elderberry. Mary Wins, love you too. Thank you for all the stuff that all of you do. I continue to pray that each and every day. Thank you, Witch Moon. Thank you, Buzzy. Thank you. Stay groovy. Yes, absolutely. And Michelle, thank you. Um, you know, a simple way of greeting folks is just say, "Peace be unto you, my brothers and sisters." And that just is hard, for anybody to get pissed off at you about. Peace be unto you, my brother and or sister, or both. And you don't have to say anything else, just peace be unto you and go on your business, Still do so still 6 hours from the line. Anyway, not for me. Love you too, baby. Thank you. So I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn, to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Every day I put my 2 footses on the ground, sometimes an arm and a leg. I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And in that law of three that always just tickles me, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you continue to learn to accept and receive and share the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And remember, on top of that, always believe, 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 believe. It's really something simple to do. So until next time, Ian, how are you? Ciao for now. Absolutely back at you. Buzz, Mary Wins, which all y'all. D Ocean, thank you. So until next time, be sweet, be safe, y'all. Okay. Cheers, everybody. We love you from South Georgia. Keep it between the ditches and ta ta for now. Adios. Cheers, cheers. Oh, and we